Hello, hello. A very good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you all. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilots, and today we're taking the Boeing 737-700 from PMDG for a flight from Los Angeles International, KLAX, slightly up the coast to San Francisco. Or is it down the coast? I thought I knew that. But anyway, I'm completely out of my depth as ever when we fly in America. We are going to also be trying out this airplane, which I'm completely out of my depth when using. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of help from you guys, and I will be relying on that. This rather fantastic livery is available on flightsim.to. It was recommended by one of our moderators, Lauren V. It's really, really very nice. It's a retro sort of Southwest livery. The link is a pinned message on YouTube if you'd like to go and try it out. What I really like is it's got lots of weathering effects, both on the outside and you'll see soon in the flight deck. So yeah, very nice livery indeed. Lots more liveries that we need to try out on the 737, of course. This is our first stream using it. We, of course, have the liveries from Paddy as well we need to use. We've got some flights for Dan Air Virtual we can do now in the 737-700. So there we go. This is going to be a short flight. It's not far. I think it's about an hour. It is a real flight, so we're using the actual flight number. Southwest's 2675 will be our flight number today as we head up north, south? I think it's north. Up the coast. Yeah, north. There we go. Yeah, it's something I've been looking forward to doing because this came out a little while ago now, and I did a video on it at the time, and I haven't really used it since. Thank you very much, Kelpie, for the $10 donation. Really, very kind. Kelpie says, how's it going? Fly this in real life a lot. Can't wait. Yeah. Thanks so much, Kelly. Really, really very kind. You've supported the channel a lot and really appreciate the donation. I'm doing very well. Great to see you all here. And thanks for coming along today. And thanks, of course, for that very kind donation. Yes, it's been a while. The things are incredibly busy right now. It won't surprise those of you in Europe to hear that this is, of course, the busiest time in aviation. When I started the channel, and since I've started the channel, I've never actually gone through that same period in flying. So the summer months in Europe are obviously just absolutely manic. There are so many flights. Those of you in Europe would have seen the news, which is that airports and airlines are having a lot of issues trying to staff their flights and keep the show running. Hence, we are very busy. So this is not only busy time of year, it is the busiest it could ever be. It's certainly the busiest I've ever seen aviation. So I apologize that the streams have been a little bit few and far between. But the good news is we are working hard, and this will ease off. Airlines will catch up with the demand. Hopefully the demand stays, and then we'll be able to stream a little more steadily. But yeah, so this is partly the reason why I had to cancel my last 737 stream. I was needed in the skies, as it were. So yeah, so anyway, really great to be here. I've wanted to fly this airplane for a while. I really like the PMDG 737. I'm going to say that right now. I think it's a really nice add-on. James Cooper, thanks so much. James, also another big supporter of the channel. James, thank you for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it. James says, hello, hope you're well. Stream on the big screen today with fish and chips. Perfect night. That does sound like a good evening. Yeah, I don't have fish and chips coming, but food has started early and we're a long way from dinner. But it is a short flight today. I won't be too far, but it sounds great, James. And thank you so much for your very kind donation. I hope work's been treating you well. And thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, big screen is a good way to show off this airplane. I think it's really quite nice. And like I say, this is a fantastic livery. Look at the streaks. This, by the way, these dark splodges you get here, caused by the grease. So the slats will have obviously sort of metal parts that stick out into the slats and push them forwards, and they will be greased. So that's what leaves these black streaks as it just sort of runs out and gets old. You sometimes see splodges of red grease that when it's new, and you think it's a bird strike, but actually it's just just the grease, and that's sort of similar on the top of the wing as well and in the flap mechanism. So they get really dirty because the grease is obviously quite sticky, so any dirt and soot and whatever else gets stuck to it. But yeah, so yeah, thank you all for coming along, and we are live on both. Oh, I've got a message already. Oh, I've got my clearance already from Los Angeles Tower. Excellent. Right, so thank you again, James. Thank you, Kelpie, for the very kind donations. Jumping into the chat very briefly, and I'll just say hello. This won't be, like I say, we're not going to spend too long, but we will get the airplane ready. It's cold and dark. We've just shown up, and I think I'm at the right terminal for once, which I'm pretty excited about. And for a bit of fun today, let's see if I can get it to work from here. We also have a bit of head tracking. And later on, hopefully I can get the eye tracking working for you as well, although being the Boeing, and I don't know what I'm doing, you'll probably just see my eyes darting around. But yeah, thought it'd be a bit of fun, but not quite useful on the outside drone mode. But there we go. So jumping into the chat, Jasper, good to see you. Jasper liked the thumbnail. I was particularly pleased with that thumbnail as well. So yeah, glad you liked it. Lauren V, thanks for coming along and moderating and for your advice. And absolutely, it is the description does need to change on these videos. Apparently, this airframe has been sent to the scrapper this past May. Ah, that's a shame. It's going to be replaced. Yeah. So. Checkpoint, good to see you, Brian. Hope you're doing well. Piano Learner, who's going to pop in and out. Excellent. Big Tango, thanks for coming along and moderating along with Wild Womble. Really great to see you all here. And Igloo Fool, Greg, I hope you're doing well. Jan, good to see you. Frank, Rakon, I hope you're doing well. Hello to you. Dana J. Suresh, good to have you here as well. And Frank, of course. Sorry if I miss anyone. There's a lot of people in the chat. So yeah, Alf Mags, great to see you. I think it said Kelpie. Orlando, still breakfast time in Los Angeles. Yes, it's early morning there. We'll be going live. Weather and so on. That Serious Pilot says, hi all, greetings from Bangkok. I'm on a stopover and heading to KL tomorrow. So what else do you do when in Bangkok? Watch a live stream. Excellent. Thanks for joining us at Serious Pilot. I hope you're not too tired. Victor Peltola, good day to you. We're also, of course, over on Twitch. So Lauren B, thanks for moderating over there, along with Dougal. Tripwired, good to see you. Victor Wolf, good to see you here as well. Zunga as well, and DJ. We've got lots of people over there on Twitch. So thank you all for joining us over there. Let me merge the chat so I don't miss anything from either of you. Thank you again to Kelpie and James for the donations. Right, that's us underway. Oh dear, there we go. What's that? That looks like it looks a bit like a 330 has appeared on our stand. This is a theme at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll jump out the drone. Just going to set the drone up in the... we'll have a wing view set up ready. There we go, they've moved along. So I actually quite like the PMDG comes with a really nice view. There we go. So busy place. We've already got our pre-departure clearance. So let me show you the flight deck. So yeah, as you can see, some weather textures. So we have some weather textures here in the flight deck. I haven't quite got my Thrustmaster TCA set up fully with this. Indeed, Checkpoint, it is a gloomy day over here in Los Angeles. I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting sort of bright sunshine, but there we go. So cold and dark setup. There's no tablet in the PMDG. I don't know how many of you have the PMDG, but yeah, I really like it, especially with this texture mod's really nice that you get those little scratches where the paint's worn away and everything. So yeah, very good. And what we're going to do is it comes with a full checklist system as well. So look at this. You can run through absolutely everything. The only one I'm going to skip is the pre-flight procedure overhead at 117 items. It'll be tedious, I think, for you guys to watch, probably. Frank says, that was me. Sorry, no problem at all, Frank. It happens. There's no way you can know who's on what stand. So, Casgro says, what is your average vertical speed going up to flight level? Usually, it's just whatever the airplane can manage in open climb in the Airbus. Lauren B says, mornings on the West Coast can be a bit on the dark and foggy side. There you go. That makes sense. Right, so yes, welcome to everybody. It has been a little while, so it is great to see you all here. Right, let me get going. So what we're going to do, power up the airplane. So obviously we've got our normal codes, but what I might be tempted to try and do, how can you guys see that? Is that showing up okay? If you have the eye tracker, and this is just something I'm playing with, by the way. It's we've done our sponsored video with the eye tracker, so this is now me just experimenting with it, really. So if I turn it on, and then I just reset the camera, there we go. So it resets, and then what you can do is you can actually look up at the overhead, and you can lean across. Let me, oh, not like that. Yeah, zooming out's best. Now the only problem is if I'm streaming and I do that, I have to sort of move the microphone with me, so that's something I'll have to get used to. But yeah, lots of tinkering to be done, certainly. Anyway, that's something I will be trying out another time, perhaps. So let's go back onto the overhead. Let's power up the airplane. So battery switch, we're going to close the guard. Battery switch is just here. Clunk, airplane comes to life. And we'll tick through these. Standby power switch, guard closed. So standby power is this one. That is closed, so it's all ready. So that's good. Alternate flap master switch, guard closed. So a lot of this stuff is sort of already set up, or you're just checking it, which is sort of classic. I cannot think where the standby flap switch is, but I know. Thank you for the subscription to check. Does this work in the PMDG? It does indeed. Always appreciated. Where is the standby flaps? So one of these. Spoilers, yaw damper, some hydraulics. Oh, some flaps. There it is. Close. Good. Tick. Windshield wipers should be in park, so they would surely be down here. There we go. Right wiper in park, left wiper in park, just like the Airbus. Electric hydraulic pump switches, they're here. So we've got the electric switches in the middle. Electric 1 and 2 need to be off. Landing gear lever needs to be down. It is down. Landing gear 3 green. Sorry, we've got landing gear 3 red light should be off. Ground power available. Illuminated. Is it illuminated? So we go to our electrical panel, which is here, and we have generator off bus. Ground power is not available. So how are we going to get ground power in the 737? We're going to go to FS actions, ground services, GPU carts, requests. Hopefully that will appear. Thanks for the follow to Jack. Hope you're doing very well. That's funny. Oh, I see. So this is a bit like the emergency config in the Airbus. We've got the screens on the captain's side only, and the standby instrument makes sense. Right, ground power now available. So illuminated, ground power on. These ridiculous rocker switches, but there we go. On. Source off, lights off. So that is the source off would be down here, I think. So they are off. Transfer bus lights off. They are off. And we got it in the auto position. Standby power off, off. Don't know what standby power off is. Oh, is this a test that we're supposed to do? I'm going to skip past that one. So many tests you do on the 737 compared to the Airbus. Alexander Powers, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Do you have any chart for taxi free? Check. No, solely I'm using Navigraph. So for those of you unaware, we are up here on Terminal 1, which apparently is where Southwest were. Funnily enough, when I loaded it up on Flight Sim and selected the stand, I could actually see a Southwest livery aircraft sitting there. So that was quite good. It's reassuring for the first time. Lauren Reese says, I love the chunky sounds the ancient rocker switches make, though. Yeah, they do make some good sounds. They got some nice sound effects on this add-on. I definitely agree with that. Battery switch guard closed. Standby power switch guard closed. Austin flat master switch guard closed. So this is the... Okay. Oh, I see. We did external power. Oh, we've already done this. Yeah, very comprehensive. I like this. This is a good thing to do. So then you can do the fire warning bell and so on. I suppose we should do that for the APU anyway. So where is the APU fire bell? So many warnings. APU is there. And you can test them. Or not. Not set up right for that yet. Strange. Maybe it needs the master switch on for that to bother working. And then you go through all that. Fire. So lots more. I feel like this is the... Well, this is all the tests. APU switch. Oh, I see. A lot of tests before, and then you're going to fiddle around to check all the lights. Interesting. Well, it's a lot more complicated starting up with the APU, clearly. So let's carry on from here. IRS mode selectors to nav. IRS mode selectors are way up here. Nav. Nav. There we go. So that's pretty standard. Just the 2 on the 7.3. Not quite as redundant, as capable as the Airbus. Noah says, how do you find the performance of the 737 in comparison with the Phoenix 320? The 320 seems quite heavy on my PC, even in high specs. Yes, indeed. The Phoenix definitely has lower frame rates for me than the PMDG. No doubt, the PMDG has very good frame rates. That's undeniable. Paul 9, thanks so much for 20 euro super chat. Really appreciate it. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, always too kind of the channel. So very, very kind. On DC lights came on and then off. Align lights are illuminated. PSCU lights extinguished. GBS light extinguished. Service interphone switch to off. Where is that hidden? But yeah, thank you so much, Paul 9. I'm doing very well, and I hope you're doing well as well. That should be off. There we go. Reverser lights extinguished. This is the thing with 7.3. Just endless checks of this sort of thing. So it's flashing a line because we need to get it set up in the FMGC. Then the EEC, which is something to do with electronic engine control or something like that. I've made that up, but yeah, those are further down here. We've run into these switches before. Something else. EEC. It's been a long time since we've flown the 737. This is exactly the same as the 200 though, which we have of course flown on the channel, and I've definitely seen EEC many times. This is very frustrating. Right, we'll give up. We'll have to do the search. Where is that hidden? Oh, a bit further up. There we go. So EEC's on. Yes, the 757 has EEC. But yeah, thank you again, Pol9, for the very kind donation. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. So those are on. Passenger oxygen switch guard closed. That is also further up that panel. Oh, that way. That's guard closed there. Passenger oxygen light on, extinguished. Landing gear lights are checked. So there's a backup light system here, because it is obviously very important. You don't want faulty system switch to suggest that the gear isn't locked down, because it's a huge checklist and a very dangerous thing to do. Flight recorder switch guard closed. Mac airspeed warning test. So then you would do your warning test. You can do the stall warners. It all works. Overspeed. Don't have to do any of this on the Airbus. Hydraulic quantity check. I assume there's nothing up here to check that. Is there? There's the crew oxygen pressure, which is good. Hydraulic quantity. Can you see that somewhere else? No, I don't think so. I'm going to check it on here. We go to system. We've got hydraulic quantity 100% on both sides. If you go FMS PMDG setup aircraft equipment page 1115 HDS installed, you can enable heads up display. Oh, thanks, Connor. I was thinking of keeping it retro today, so we'll talk about some of the setup in there in a minute. So hydraulic quantity is good. Engine oil quantity, that's hydraulic. Oil will be on the engine page. This is all you get in the 7.3. You don't get all the nice stuff if you get with the Airbus with the doors pages and everything. Oil quantity 94, 99, so, and more than enough oil. Interesting to see it as percentage. The Airbus does it in actual amounts, quarts. I think percentage is probably a better idea. Easy to remember, a limit. Manual gear extension, access door closed. Ooh, manual gear extension. One of the best design bits on the Airbus is the manual gear extension. So easy. With literally the handle you rotate around. But I'm just going to put some lights on to make it a bit easier for you guys to see, as it's so much gloomier than expected. Where's the manual gear extension door? Does anybody know? They haven't highlighted it. I reckon it's probably down here. There's the landing gear pins. That's handy as well. Nice and visible. I like that. Although perhaps a bit in the way. Parking brake as needed. So parking brake, let's have that on. The light on. Thank you. CDU pre-flight. So CDU is here. And we will set that up now. And next will be the overhead panel, which is 117. So I'm going to skip through that one. Right. Moving on to the MCDU/CDU is what they call it in the Boeing, which talks to the FMS. It looks complicated, says Zach, but it's not bad once you get used to the layout. No, it's exactly. I do agree. Once you get through all the tests and the setup, it's fine. But there's a lot of testing and a lot of setup. I think that's an underrated part of the Airbus's design, is how the setup is so simple. It makes a big difference when you're operating the airplane a lot. Landing extension door is on the floor. Well, that's what I thought. Does anyone... We got... a check. The engine oil is configured in percent or amount. Oh, I see. So the operators can choose. There you go. No doubt there's a million configurations of the 737. Right. Not here. Not there. Oh, is that it there? That looks like that. Manual gear, extension, access door. Right. We won't fiddle with that. But yeah, there it is. It looks like you can click it. So I suspect that's simulated, but I haven't tried it yet. Right. CDU. Let's go. So in here, we have a million different things. So we currently have ground power. We don't need an air start unit. We're not going to request air conditioning. We'll do that ourselves. We've got wheel chocks set because we haven't got a tug. Jetway doesn't work here. Then you can do a service and all these things, which is great. Fuel truck request. I can do that. I want to have 11.7 on the fuel. This is in pounds, so if I get one of these numbers massively wrong, I apologise. No, actually, I want more. I want 13,300 on the fuel. No EFB, like I say, so you sort of have to have all this stuff. I've got my sim brief open in another tab. I will be on VATSIM indeed. Will be Southwest 2675. So there it is. Requests. Please come and fuel us. It's going to have to actually take a bit of fuel off, but there we go. And then we can do fueling start. Next page, what do we got? Stairs on one left. How many passengers do we want to load? Now I actually want a specific weight, so I'm going to check that in a minute. Then you can request the bus. Cleaning, I mean, that's pretty good. So I think this brings all the ground service trucks. They got a good amount of ground servicing. And then you can sort out the loading like that. So what I'm going to do is go just to payload. I need a zero fuel weight of 112,000 pounds. We currently have a zero fuel weight of 121, so we're a bit heavier than I want it to be because we've got full economy cabin. So let's drop that to 120 passengers. Let's see how that works. Zero fuel weight 116, no, a bit low. 110 passengers. 114, and let's drop the cargo to 3 at the front, 3 at the back. There we go. So 111,000 pounds. So confusing to me, so confusing. And that gives us a gross weight of 136,000, which is probably about where I want it to be. Yeah, maybe a little bit heavier, but there we go. Good. So that's done, and I'm assuming, does everyone know? Yeah, have I now done? Oh, you can just edit the zero fuel weight. There we go. So is this now done? I don't need to cool any trucks. That's just how the aircraft should be loaded to this level. Does everyone agree with that? As I've done it directly in there, and the fuel, we've done the truck. So I'm hoping when the truck arrives, there it is, connected. I do like the fact they have their own ground services, and I think some of the liveries are modified with this livery. But there we go. We should see the fuel decreasing. Doesn't seem to be 25.1, but that's because we need to go to ground services, fueling. How do I say start? Maybe it can't defuel. Maybe it's not allowed to do that. So we'll do 13.3, which is only 28%. It's a short flight, like I said. There it is. That's instant. So done. All right. So refueling works if you need to refuel, but perhaps less so if you need to defuel. I've never had to defuel an airplane, by the way. I've never seen it. I wouldn't know the start of that procedure. It's an engineering sort of function, really. And then we've done the passengers. Got 110. So just leave that as it is. Good. Right. Let's not fiddle with that anymore. Also in the menu, no surprise. Oh, you need the wheel chocks in. There we go. You can't decrease the fuel amount via truck. You need to put it in menu. Thanks, Pavel. Fly with Aldo says, it's warning the tower. Excellent. Thank you. So you've also got the PMDG set up, and you've got a million different options. You can change the colors, performance, but crucially, aircraft options, and then you've got all of this. So I don't know the difference. I've got Collins. After takeoff, we're going to have go into wings level. Why not? Glides are captured before localizer. Deny. I've never seen that. The Airbus certainly can't do that, so we won't have that. Auto land, fail passive, so it's the weaker system. Fail active means it can carry an auto landing after a failure. Engines double derate, yes, but I don't even know how to do one level of that, so we shall see. So actually, yeah, well, let's leave that alone. Company cost of 18, 6,000 minimum runway on the feet. Alternate ILS requirement, yes, don't know what that means. V1 on, it's for the call out, which I do want. Bank angle on. These are co-pilot sort of call outs, so I think they're nice to have. And then we got the different rad out call outs. 400 and 300 are rarely used, 200 as well, but 150, I want 40. 30, 20, 10 on. Airspeed low on. Terrain peaks mode, yes. Show water in cyan, yes. I'd like the water shown. ETOPS, no. This is an old aeroplane. Dual battery package, yes. ETOPS cargo fire system, no. We're not going to ETOPS. There we go. And then you can go into that was equipment. Displays. Then you can change all the displays. I mean, it's just outrageous. You can change every single thing you can think of. So we got a lot of this stuff on. Because that's pretty much the only way I remember the 737 that I've seen. And where is like the lights and so on? That's all in here, isn't it? Yeah, look at this. Unbelievable. Performance improvement. No, we wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't have thought. We're pretending we're a bit of an older 737 here. We'll have carbon brakes because I've never used steel. Have the original lights. Eyebrow windows I've got, which I quite like. Classic 7.3 thing. Airstairs installed, yes, although I'm not using them. Old style switches. You need to see Flight Director Sim's videos to understand what most of this means. I'm sure he's aware of what all this does, but there you go. So let's go and set it up as we know. So we're going to go to menu, FMC, 737-700. Got the right ARAC. Sim with Elliot says, hello, when is the best time to perform cockpit prep checklist section? Well, you mean for the 7.3? I haven't done it yet. So what have I done? I've done the preliminary pre-flight procedure, then will be the overhead, and then pre-flight procedure. I'm not sure what MIP means. We shall see. If you're talking about the Airbus, you'll do cockpit preparation checklist after pretty much when you're ready to go. You'll have done your preliminary cockpit prep, then you'll have done your cockpit prep flow, and then you'll run the checklist once you've done your brief and everything. That's how it would work on the Airbus typically. Good. Position in it then. So we are starting from KLAX. That's interesting. I thought I'd be able to put in the GPS position. So we're on stand 16. Let's do it properly. On terminal number 1, 12 through 18. So here we go. Let's see if we can get this bit done properly. 12 through 18. North. 33. 56.8. And then we're going to have west 118 24.1. There we go. So that should know where it is now. Reference airport KLAX. Probably should have done that first. Gate 16. This never works in any sim. No, it never knows the database for that. I don't know why. Must be something to do with the way sims are set up. There we go. Then we're going to go to route KLAX, and we're going to KSFO. Flight number Southwest 2675. This is a real flight. I'm very excited about that, as you can tell. Oh, GPS was on page 2. Oh, that's my fault. Yeah, okay. Classic. Let me go and grab my... We've got our clearance already. So do I just write... how do I respond to the clearance when it comes to text message? I can read you the clearance. Southwest 2675, cleared to San Francisco. Summer 2, stoked, Surfer 4, KSFO. Climb via SID, expect to maintain 5,000 feet. Expect flight level 340, 5 minutes after departure. So cruising at 340. Yep, which we knew. Ground control 12095 when ready for taxi. End of message. Departure frequency 13555. So we've got our clearance. No need. Okay, yeah. I think I'll just acknowledge it. I mean, in your defense, I can't think of a great reason for it to be on page 2. In the 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's on page 1. There we go. Thanks, Frank. No need to respond to clearance. You should be able to push within the ramp, so just call for taxi. Perfect. Thanks. I won't respond to that. So, I thought the clearance would include the runway. Obviously not. That's a bit disappointing. So, I'm going to have to grab the ATIS, aren't I? And I don't think you can do that inside the... I don't think there's ACARS. Is there ACARS simulated? I don't think there is at the moment. So let's have a look. Oh, 5G NOTAMs in effect. Yes, I don't see any of that in Europe. That's a long ATIS. So that's going to be information Oscar. And we've got... Supposed to be pushing back now. Well, we're not too far off it. Wind is 240 at 7. 20 degrees. Yeah, it's a nice morning there. And altimeter, where's the altimeter? 2999. Very nice. Simultaneous ILS approaches for runways 24 right and 25 left. Parallel approach between Los Angeles and Hawthorne airports. Simultaneous departures 24 left and 24 left and 25 right. So we are going to want 25 right, I suspect. 5G NOTAMs in effect. Use caution. There's hang gliding, birds. Careful with the readback. Transponder with mode C on the taxiways. Wow, there's a lot of instructions in that. And there's some gliding. Information Oscar. Okay, good. So, let me just check where we are. I think we're going to want to depart from... Oh, here we go. 24 left and 25 right. So 24 left up here. No way we want to go down to 25 right. So what we'll do is put in 24 left. Just next door. Pretty good. Flight plan request. Here we go. You can download the flight plan and weather into a folder within PMDG files and pull them through. Can't remember exactly how. Right. So that's a bit like the Leonardo Mad Dog. Yeah. Interesting. We're doing a north departure. So that, okay. So Lauren B says they put you on the runway, which corresponds to your direction, which that happens in a lot of places as well. Not just for the short taxi, because of course what they don't want is people trying to depart from the south and then turning north across the. So yeah, but we're going north, so that works. Good news. Yeah, so we will not be able to do a request. Yeah, fine. Next page then. So via, and we do already have this, which is pretty handy. Summer 2. Yeah, that's what we expected. So let's put that in. Summer 2 from 24 left. And then we're going to take that to Stoked. Please tell me that appears next. There it is. So to Stoked. Then we're going to go direct to Surfer. Something I've noticed in the American waypoints is that they're quite happy for it not to really... It doesn't spell out a word, whereas in Europe they often do. That all the vowels and so on are in the right place. So we can activate that. Executes. And that's good enough. We could put in the arrival, but I don't know what we'll actually get. So I'm not going to do that actually. So let me go back to... We were en route. Performance in it. Great stuff. We're getting there. We're getting there. Mr. Trixie says, Phoenix so much better, just one button and it download the flight plan. Yeah, it is good. It is good. Although that doesn't take too long when you do a nice short flight like this. Ainsley 1988, how did you? Thanks for joining us over on Twitch. Okay, so let's try and get this right. Gross weight, I don't know, but zero fuel weight, I do know. I wonder, can I go to FS actions? I can indeed. Payload, zero fuel weight, 111.8. Reserves. Oh no, that's going to require a bit of conversion. Reserves are 1,200 for the alternate plus a ton, so 2,200 kilograms, so 4,900 pounds, which is going to be 4.9. Cost index, we are going with cost index of, it's planned at 18, but we're going with 5, so quite a low one for such a short flight, which seems practical. Thank you, Hugh, for the subscription. Flight level 340 we were told to expect. There we go. Cruise wind is going to be -19, or I can put in the actual average wind, 255.39. On a flight this short, absolutely no problem just doing one average wind. It might make the descent a little bit out of sync, but there we go. Transition altitude 18,000. That's all great. Execute. Perf init request. So I think that would download these things, but there we go. So planned fuel is reckons 13.5. We've got 13.3. Do I need to put anything here? Does anyone know what that does? Or it's amazing. I thought to myself before this, I was like, well, I've done a lot in the 7.3 by this point, so surely we'll manage. But already that is unraveling, and I deserve that, certainly. Plan is if you are not fully fuel jets. Ah, okay, great. So we've got 13.5 on board. Actually, we've got 13.3, so let's put that in. Nope. Well, it's close enough. For £200, I think it's not going to matter. Ainsley says I wouldn't know where to start in the Boeing. No, indeed. Input trim. Okay, so I've got a zero fuel weight. I've got takeoff CG 19.5. So that has gone across. So I think that's it, right? Zero fuel weight reserves. Yeah, all good. M1 limit. So it's 20 degrees outside. Plus 20. Can anybody tell me what to do with this page? I've got double D-rate activated. This is the thing I've never known what to do with. And I don't really want to do a toga takeoff because we're only going to 5,000 feet. So I'll let you guys type that out in chat. If anybody can help me with that. I'm going to put 5,000 feet in the window in the meantime. Down, 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 down. We've got our clearance. So we've done the departure. We've got 5,000 feet. We don't have a squawk. That didn't arrive, I don't think. But we do need to put in, or check the route, sorry. So I'm just going to go to plan. And there it is, just to show you that departure. SID, Summer 2, RNAV, there it is. Hopefully. I'm doing 20k, pretty light, says Alf. Okay, you need the opt calculator for Boeing. Oh, Boeing will actually tell us exactly what we need. Ed, good to see you. Ed says, hi to all. Can't stop tonight, but just dropping in to wish you a good flight. We'll catch you later. Thanks very much, Ed. Hope you're doing well. Not allowed to say, sadly. I say 50 because flex 50 sounds about right in the 320. Yeah, well, that was what I'd do. Or I'd do maybe a little bit higher in the 320. Anyway, there's the departure. Whilst we're debating how to do that, if I go to the legs, then I can scroll through. There's summer, surfer, and then into the arrival. So we'll have to set that up pretty quickly. And we can do the V2 speeds once we have the... let's put these lights on. We can do the V2 speeds when we have the performance loaded. Papa says, are you using Toby? Yes, we will. So I have it ready to go, and I'm going to set that up a bit later, or just turn it on a bit later. Not so good for the... I don't think it's got much use at this moment, especially when we're doing fixed things like this. It's 5,000 feet. It's got departure frequency. Yeah, no. What I'm also going to do in the meantime is set up ramp. There is no ramp, so I suppose we're going to go straight to tower 12095. So contact ground on 12095 when ready for taxi. So we would just push back ourselves and then contact them. So 12095. Logitech panel seems to work just fine. As proof, there it is, 12095. And after that, that's tower, and then it's departure 13555. Although they've gone off line. Oh no, 13555. So I'll put that in the backup or standby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So not to brag, but in the Airbus, you just type in a temperature. Right. I don't know if it's coming to Xbox. JC says, I usually select climb to derate the climb thrust, otherwise you'll get the flight director's pitching to over 20.
Contact SoCal departure 124.3.
Usually select climb 2. Okay, so climb 2 for the profile. And this is, so should we do a derate? 24 presumably being pounds of thrust. Is that the maximum? Should we do a 20k derate? I don't like the sound of 26k bump. Should we do that? And then do we just put in a temperature? I mean, they asked just CFM56s. So, reduced 20k M1 is 83%. Is that going to be enough to get out of the ground? We're not that heavy. Is that too much? What if I did 22, 86? Let's do 22. So, slight derate there and a climb 2. Jay says Toga. Yeah, I would do Toga, but 5,000 feet is pretty low. Pretty low. There we go. So, that's something. We'll see if that works. Good luck to us. Flaps. So, here we can go to QRH on, like that. Got that in. CG for takeoff. Gross weight CG is takeoff CG, sorry, 19.5. In. And we need to choose a flap setting. So let's go for. I'm guessing flap 5. I mean, how long is that runway? Let's just check before I get too ahead of myself that it isn't a tiny runway. This is where the Phoenix has that excellent calculator built in. It's just great to have. You can click on CG and it will auto populate. Oh, thanks so much, Frank. 24 left is long. Okay. Tower is indeed online. Lost our charts though. Come on, charts. You can do it. Please. Flat 5, 99% of the time. Okay. Seems sensible to me. Oh, there it is. What's going on with my charts? That's very, very concerning.
American 2690 vacated short Juliet 25 right.
American 2690.
Every other chart's working.
Juliet cross runway 25 right. Bravo to the ring.
Oh dear, there it is. Right, it's a 3,300 meter runway, and we're here, so we're going to get most of that. So yeah, flat 5.
You flying back out again?
Yeah, I think
there we go. 127, 128, V2, 131.
We'll get back with you in the next 25 minutes.
Something else we have to do. Right. Put that in here. 131 is V2. 131. And what also I'm going to do is put in the initial course for that departure.
Los Angeles Tower, American 3212 on
Mark says, what is batter in the sim world? 0 to 150? Yeah, that's probably what people call batter in the sim world. Some operators do flat 1 on the one. Pierre's got a seat. Excellent. Well done. Oh, this is going to be... Oh, it's over there. Okay. Okay. Right, so straight ahead. Initially, we're taking off from the north, so that's going to be 253. Doesn't really matter. We're not about to do a radnav... radio aid departure, but it's just to have it in roughly the right direction. And, of course, in the Boeing, we have to set up the heading bug as well. Let's do this style... And I'll put the heading bug over there as well. Oh. And why not? FO can have the same. 3, 2, 253. Hey, that was good luck. I don't think flight directors need to be on at this point, but someone can correct me otherwise. We've done the plan. We've checked the route, so we'll go back to map on that. Let's just put the correct QNH in. 2999, 2999, 2999. Right. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the overhead panel ourselves, so we don't have to do that checklist, and then we can embarrass ourselves when we're totally wrong. So obviously there's more fire tests and so on that we need to do, but I'm not going to get too upset about that for this one. Flight directors do go on now. Okie doke. Flight directors are on. FDs can be on if you want now. You can RMA on that if you want, but it's operator dependent. Okay. Alpha Max is ready to push. Well done. Okay, I'm not quite there. So you're done for coming on. These are all set. Alternate flaps are in the off. VHF nav, these can all be in the normal / FMC / normal position. Fuel pumps, we need the, is it the left aft pump on for the APU?
Small question
I think
for
that's
you
right.
Might be able to answer.
Certainly.
Are you all planning to be pushing at the relative same time, or are you in contact with him?
Oh no, I think there's a few of us
contact, but I
trying
think
to
that's
push
the
it
idea,
once.
yeah.
Okay, so because of the flow restrictions going up to San Francisco, I'm going to have to space you guys out. You guys are aware of this, right?
That's fine. I don't mind waiting in the queue.
Yeah, I figured there'd be something like that in effect.
Generators off.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Grab
sure
power.
if there's any way that you can relay it to them, I'm going to ask somebody in my chat to do the same, just to make sure that everybody's aware and it doesn't sound like I'm the evil tower controller.
If they're talking about us, then that's absolutely fine. No problem at all. What I might do is get ourselves in the queue
Alright,
then.
push and start approved. I'm pushing now.
Put that to
He's gonna
auto.
probably
Fasten
be another few
belts
minutes,
to
so
on. We're fueled
that's
up.
what I'm trying to speed
Wipers
up
off.
myself.
Pressurization panel. We're going to leave that alone, but I'm going to check it's put to the auto position. Landing. I think it's KSFO is obviously at sea level, and we're cruising at 340. So let's put that in. Aft makes us offline. Perfect. Moving up here, we've got the forward entry door, so there's the doors panel. We've got the fuel pumps off, engine anti-ice off, probe heat off, but we can put the window heat on.
Good afternoon, LA
now.
Tower, Qatari 71
Moving over here,
coming out of
normal,
Imperial
there we go, there's the
Cargo.
window heat coming on. Reset fan,
Qatari 71
auto,
Romeo.
isolation valve open, AP bleed off, engine bleeds on. That is all good.
We are good for
Logo lights
25
on,
left today.
we have steady
Qatari
lights with the nav
71
lights,
Romeo
anti-collision off, wheel wells off,
Qatari
those
71
are all
Romeo
off.
heavy, taxi to
I think what
runway
we're going to
25
do,
left via Alpha 1, Foxtrot,
flow restrictions, going to escalate. Thanks Frank, yep, that's absolutely fine.
Hey, Alpha 1 Foxtrot,
I think I overheard that conversation.
71 Romeo heavy.
American 3212, continue on hotel.
So,
Right
let's start at the
hotel 5,
APU.
Cross runway 25 right and directly into the ramp. Monitor this frequency. Good day.
Is that going to be enough, or do we have to hold it?
Turn right, hotel 5, crossing 25 right to the ramp.
There we go, low pressure, I think that's working. Thanks Frank, thanks for checking that, thanks for letting the controller know. Kiva says, I think both are fun and cool, but my number one complaint with 7.3 versus A320 is you can't increment altitude by 1,000. Yeah, there you go. It's funny the little things that make a difference, isn't it? This has to be done in hundreds. George says that the cockpit design is horrible. They just put buttons where they have space. Yeah, pretty much that's what they would have done. No doubt about that. Yeah. Right, AP is coming online. Let's wait till we see AP available. We'll swap over and again we'll get rid of the ground power. Do you need to set landing altitude? What's this for? It's for the pressurization system to know how to depressurize. Landing altitude is 0 for KSFO. Gen off bus tells me the APU is available. So that can go. We don't need to turn this off. It's already off. Yep. What I can do is turn on the APU bleed, get some air conditioning. It's probably getting stuffy in the cabin about now. I can't read that. It's something Fahrenheit. So that can go on, and then we can put the pack to auto. We'll turn those off again for starts. There we go. Hear the air coming. Good. Yeah, I like the sound effects on the PMDG. No doubt about it. Good. So let's get rid of the GPU. We're getting there. Sorry it's taking so long, but it's a short taxi.
Qatari 71 Romeo heavy, holding short 25 left.
Qatari 71
Ground power,
Romeo
goodbye.
heavy. Runway 25 left. Wait, I gotta get a release visa.
Okay, we'll line up and wait. Qatari 71 Romeo heavy.
Where is the... Let's release the stairs. I want to tug. I think there might be... There we go, pushback. So let's...
Qatari 71 Romeo
we'll
heavy,
wait and see.
RNAV hyper, wind 250 at 6, runway 25 left, full length, let's take off.
Can we just get the tug to connect?
Clear takeoff 25 left, RNAV hyper, Qatari 71
Not sure.
Romeo heavy.
Not sure. Anyway, let's run the checklist. Get hold of tower. So this is the 117 checklist. I think we've done all of that. Light switch, duct overhead, tests, lots of tests and so on. But we've done all of that. And then you've got more pre-flight procedures as you head around the airplane. So we can come along here. This will all be done as a flow, basically. That's why it's so long. You wouldn't operate this as a checklist. So we've done our MCP. We've got barrow set there. We're on inches, 2992.
It's all be done as a flow, basically. That's why it's so long. You wouldn't operate this as a checklist. So we've done our MCP. We've got barrow set there. We're on inches.
I can hear someone watching our stream. Tug disconnects when you click select. Okay, great.
Pilot calling, say again.
They might need to turn their audio down on my stream. It's very nice of them to watch though. Main panel they use norm. This can go to RTO now, I think.
Might need to turn their audio down on my stream. It's very nice of them to watch though.
Oh dear. I feel bad. Yeah, speed ref auto, N1 auto. I don't know what to do now. I feel terrible. I hope they realise. Frequency set. VHF nav set. Then does this work yet? The detector's not working.
LA Tower, Southwest 1208, ready for taxi, runway 24 left.
Southwest 1208, come all the way out of the ramp, make a right turn on Echo.
But
runway
in
24 left, full
Squawk,
length.
we're going to get, so let's set
Come
that
out
to
the ramp,
2000.
check
Is
your
that
right,
is
Echo,
the Europe
24
thing?
left, full length, Southwest 1208.
What would they do normally in America?
Southwest 2674, is it going to be a problem us pushing now?
There we go, they've got it.
Stand by.
Excellent.
Sorry, 71 Romeo, contact SoCal departure 124.3, so on.
Okay, order departure, Qatari 71 Romeo Heavy, and thanks for your help as always.
Okay, Southwest pilot calling to push from the gate. Which
Sorry, I was whispering. Okay, I think it's worked out. Right, MCP set, flight director switches on, minimum reference barrow done, 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 done.
2674.
We're all over
Southwest
this.
2674,
No
go ahead and
problem.
push and start at your discretion. There's nobody on your side of the terminal.
Roger. Push and start cruise. Southwest 2674.
Yeah. Great. We're all set. Yeah, done on that. Done on that.
We'll be waiting.
Forced up siege. So we set the V2. Then it says you can arm the LNAV and VNAV. Let's do that. LNAV, VNAV are armed. Good. Heading set. Initial altitude set. Doors closed. Fuel panel set. Electric hydraulic pump. So electric pumps come on. Okay.
Is it alright for me to push and start, or do you need me to wait?
Trim set. So we went
you're
with
going to San
19.
Francisco, correct?
Sorry, not 19.5.
Correct, sir.
Okay, I'm going to just broadcast this for everybody to hear.
623.
You guys can all push and start if you're in the terminal ramp at your discretion, unless you're at the end and you need to push to an active taxiway. The only thing you guys all have to keep in mind is everybody going to San Francisco, I am going to be holding you on the ground and spacing you out. If more pilots join in on the San Francisco run, we'll end up having to go to a cow flow situation, and at that point I will give you wheels up time. But as it stands, just be prepared to be waiting in line anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes for me to be able to get you guys airborne. As long as everybody can work with that, we'll get you out as soon as we can.
Thanks, Tower. That's great. Thanks for the information. Perfect.
Perfect, thank you for that, sir.
Right, flight door closed, locked. Fuel. We've got the quantity.
Southwest 1208.
All
runway
on.
24 left, line up and
Passenger
wait,
signs.
get your release.
Auto and
Lining
on. Those are up there.
24 left, Southwest 1208.
Yeah, good. Windows locked. MCP, we've done. Oh, you have to check that a million times, don't you? CD pre-flight complete. Radar 8 on trim, 3 and 0. Briefing complete. Anti-collision on. Next is the actual engine start procedure. So, it's so this is the thing in America. You just call up ramp, but as there's no ramp control, we're going to do it ourselves. We don't need to call push start, which we're not used to here. Hence, everyone's doing it because I think a lot of us are used to my European streams. So, we need to configure this pushback. I have got to. It's only taken us 50 minutes. Pushback. Distance to taxi line 262. Absolutely no idea.
Southwest 2675 LA Tower.
Go ahead for Southwest 2675.
I'm pretty sure from what I just saw, you're aware of this already, but you're embedded into somebody else. Let me know when you plan to push, please, unless he pushes before you do, and then disregard that if he does. If you need to push first, let me know so that way I can make sure he doesn't come out of the ramp at the same time.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we're actually we're about to push now, so if you could coordinate that, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you want to push now, push and start, and then the other pilot that's underneath you, I can't see your tag on the Aztecs. Hold at the ramp until 2675 comes out, and then you can push afterwards.
Thanks, Tower. I'll push now. Okay, let's just go. So do
1208, contact
straight
SoCal
push.
departure 204.3.
Start. Let's get that beacon on,
Southwest 1208, thank you.
which is going to be anti-collision. Can't see.
Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Brakes off.
Right. Brakes released. We're going. Where's the clock? Where's the start? What do they do? Elapsed time? There we go. They will start in the sequence. You appear to have turned the hydraulic pumps off.
Alaska 1738, LA Tower, wind 250 at 6, runway 25 left.
There we go. What is the point of having the hydraulic pumps on for the start, though? Do we need them? Is it just for the brakes? Do they not run on the accumulator? Anyway, back we go. I'm just going to do a straight push because I cannot risk the other one. I love the this view. I think it's really nice. Look at this. So was this in the last sim update? Because I think this is the default Los Angeles. Right, there's a big queue, so let's get the engines up and running. Auto number 4 taxi. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, engine driven pumps off. So I was under the impression... No, stop. I was under the impression, and there's a reason I turned them off, that we don't want the hydraulics to just pressurise straight away at engine start in the 737 because of the way the nose wheel steering is aligned. So if you... The magic of having those pumps off is that if the nose wheel steering pin was not engaged properly, it wouldn't risk it switching. But that might be an operator SOP, an old one that I've heard somewhere. Alright, let's turn them all on then. If everyone wants them on, we can have them on. Air conditioning pack switches need to go off. Off and off.
Say again, please.
Oh. Grounds.
Southwest 2674, you might want to turn down the stream just a little bit so that way I can hear you and not the gentleman on the other side. Taxi runway 24 left, come out of the ramp, make a right turn on Echo, and 24 left full length.
This controller's great.
Should head out ramp right on Echo, hold 24 left, Southwest 2674.
A lot better.
25 on.
Yeah, I paused it.
It's very nice of them to watch. I hope they're enjoying it anyway. So, goodbye to the tug. I think they're gone. No. How do we get rid of the tug then? Don't know.
Southwest 534 LA Tower.
The other station says it's SOP. Southwest keeps A hydraulic off, B on for start. There you go.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
Right.
Was that plane in my gate?
Start the next one.
Actually, you came in on his gate, but your altitude is invalid for your direction of flight.
None.
You're going to Portland, correct?
Removed. There we go. Thank you very much.
I can give you 320 or 340. Which one would you prefer?
I'll take 340.
23.
Okay. Expect a PDC with all
25.
information and
Fuel on.
Note of the emitted altitude.
Fuel flow. EGT.
LA Center, JetBlue 795 checking in, ILS 25 left.
How about JetBlue 723?
Yeah, so the Airbus has a bypass pin, and in the Airbus, you start up the engines, and if the bypass pin isn't installed, it will damage the nose wheel steering. Like, that's just a fact. But I was under the impression some 73 operators might have a SOP to help alleviate that risk.
Southwest 534, hold at the gate. I'll give you
perhaps not. Sounds like it's less likely. There we go. That's done. That's back to norm. So let's see if I can work this little flow out. Fuel pumps are all on. Let's swap the electrical power over
534 LA Tower
to the generators. APU gen off. That's absolutely fine. Nothing up here. Nothing down here. No, that's all good. Let's turn off the APU then. Now we're on power. Let's put the engine bleeds on. APU bleed off. Isolation valve can go back to auto.
Alaska 1738. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Auto. Reset fan on. And then we're going to turn on the pitot heats for taxi, and we've got all the hydraulic pumps on.
Delta 7821,
good.
Ready for taxi.
Let's move down here. RTO for that. Flight directors on.
Out of the ramp, make a left
that's
turn
all
on
looking
Bravo,
good. So that will
Bravo
arm when we take off. We've still got 5,000 feet. Let's set our flaps to
left onto Bravo, then Bravo
5.
Delta 78.
Then that will move. That's the trailing edge flaps, and we have to look up here to check for the slats.
1738.
Leading edge devices, or flaps.
Hotel.
Flaps and slats. There you go.
Juliet,
flaps inner, slats outer.
Right,
Subtle
turn on
difference.
Bravo. You're going to the Alaska
Nose wheel
gate,
steering is indeed why
terminal
Southwest keeps a hydraulic off for start as an extra safety option. There you go. So both of these. So it wasn't the electric or the engine. I should have turned off both of this one. There we go.
Alaska 1738. Once you cross runway 2,
We don't need any of the anti-air stuff. It's 20 degrees, plenty warm enough.
Hold short of Charlie
Right, what have we missed? Let's do the checklist.
Delta come out and then you can go into the ramp.
Generator switches on, probe heat on, wing NTIs and engine NTIs not required. Packs auto, isolation auto, APU bleed off. Engine start is in auto or off. I suppose they go to continuous for takeoff. So continuous. Engine start levers in the idle detent, which is where they are. Flap lever to take off flaps, and then they are checked. We've got 5 and transponder. Oh yes, we haven't got a squawk yet, so we're going to just put that to Yeah, transponder. Good. Recall check. So recall, we have to press this panel. But no, they're all done. For taxi. Checklists. Generators on. Probe heat on. Anti-ice not required. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Recall. Auto brake. Idle. Flight controls. Ground equipment clear. Before takeoff is the next one. We will do the flight controls actually. Don't think there's any page we can see this as far as I'm aware. We just end up
Delta 7821, do me a favor, make a next right and then join Bravo there and then turn left on Bravo.
Passengers get a nice view of
Turn
it
right at the next junction and then
Great
head on
stuff.
to
Right.
Bravo Delta 781.
Let's call for taxi. We've got the chart
Well,
ready.
1738, looks like the Delta's out. You're free to taxi into the terminal.
Alright, terminal 1730, have a good day.
There we are. Southwest 2675, request taxi.
Southwest 2675, come all the way out of the ramp, make a right turn on Echo, hold short, runway 24 left.
Out of the ramp, right turn, hold short Echo. Right turn onto Echo, hold short 24 left, Southwest 2675. Oh, apparently there is a page. Let's turn off engines. Systems. Oh, there it is. I was going to say.
Southwest 2675, do you have contact with Southwest 2674 by chance?
Sadly, I don't think we have 2674, but I'll just ask. If Southwest 2674 is in the chat,
it looks
let
like
me know.
they disconnected. If that's the case, I don't remember exactly where he was when he disconnected, so just keep an eye out. He may pop back up once you turn on the Echo.
Okay, thanks very much. We'll keep an eye out. Taxi light on. This controller's being absolutely brilliant with us here today. I didn't realise so many people would fly along, otherwise I probably should have done something. So we're going to go out of the ramp and then hold, onto Echo to hold short 24 left. So this is Echo along here, and I think we'll just take Victor as our holding point. Daniel B is disconnected, not coming back on. Okay, Daniel, I hope you had a good time, and I do apologise. I appreciate it's challenging trying to manage a stream and VATSIM and so on. So yeah. Southwest 2674 says they're not coming back online.
Thank you for the information.
Right. Let's get going. Let's get the turn done, and then we'll do a brake check. Laser Shark Gaming, hello to you. Okay, so my impression of the 7.3, I've judged it too harshly, assuming it didn't have a flight control page. Perhaps a step too far. Even the Dash 8 has a spoilers page at least. So we want to join Echo. So not this first, right? We cross over, don't enter the runway, find the holding point.
Up to 548.
Whilst we taxi, we can check that the nav is all working. Done a brake check. Let's get a bit of speed up. It does seem to take thrust. I don't think the 737 taxis forward idle thrust like the Airbus does. Brake check. It's all good.
Scepter 723, clear on hotel.
Tom Corwine, good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
723, Hotel Juliet, cross
I had something I
125
wanted
right,
to do as well.
Bravo on the other side and Bravo to the ramp.
By the way, endlessly frustrating
Hotel
to wait for
Juliet,
Boeings to do their flight control check before they
join Bravo
taxi.
on the other
Airbus,
side,
we can do it on the
taxi
move.
parking, 723.
Knows what it looks like. It does. I don't fully understand that either. Yeah, but probably, I'm sure it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it looks a bit strange to be moving it forwards and backwards to turn left and right, eh? I'll get in trouble if I keep complaining like that. I'm going to arm the auto thrust as well. I feel like that should be armed. There's Victor, so we're going to head over there and then we'll run our checklists. So yeah, let's do a bit of eye tracking. Let's reset the view. There we go. Now I have the microphone in front of me, so let's see how it handles that. It is watching my eyes as well, so it's slightly adjusting the camera. So let's take this holding point here. I don't know how it's going to feel for you guys to watch all the time, but I really quite like it for me to use it. You just get used to keeping your head slightly steady. There we go. So let's bring it to a stop. Brake sets, parking brake sets. There we go. And if I carefully do that, there you go. You should be able to see where I'm looking. But that also slightly affects the camera, and I haven't decided if I like that. So flaps should be set to 5 and green light. So flaps are 5, and then the leading edge flaps extension light underneath is green, so we don't have to keep looking at the overhead panel. Stabilizer trim is set to the 6.25 for takeoff. Done. Next is the after takeoff checklist. So for my own sanity, I'm going to run through the I think it's best to have it zoomed out as well when we do it like this. So for takeoff, we're going to spool up the engines to 40%, then we're going to hold them there, and then we're going to click this screw, which is pressing the toga buttons down here. That's then going to drive the thrust forward to the D-rated of 86%. We're going to let it accelerate with a bit of forward pressure, 80 knots.
Southwest 2675, LA Tower.
Go ahead, Southwest 2675.
Center's showing a mismatch on your transponder. Can you confirm that you're squawking 7122 for me?
Squawk 7122, Southwest 2675. Sorry, we weren't.
Okay, Azdex just wasn't updating yet, and we wanted to make sure Center caught it before I put you on the runway. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you. Right, so let's go for 7122. I'm going to do the 22 first because I don't like putting 7s at the start. Oh. 7122. There we go. Yeah, so then we're going to get to V1, which it will call out with 127, and we're going to rotate the aeroplane up to about 15 degrees, and then with the flight directors, it should go to LNAV and VNAV, and then away we go into
Delta
the
7821,
yeah.
you ready to go?
I don't think there's much else to do. Traffic on ND, yes. Good
yes,
point.
I
Traffic?
am. Just aircraft has spawned in front of me,
Let's
so I
put it
wasn't
to
quite sure what
TARA.
was going on there. I presume they're not under your control.
Down here. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put the lights on as well. And we'll put the flashing lights on.
Delta 7821, runway 25, right, line up and wait.
There we go.
Line up and rate 25, right.
Rolling takeoff on
Delta
73. Yeah, we could do that. Oh, by the way, you can use this quite fun. You can look around a bit in the cabin, a bit like a passenger. Let me know how that is to you guys. Do you want should I turn off the eye tracker? What do you think? The head tracking's fun, but we can just have that without the eye tracking. What do you guys think? Can't see that airplane taking off. By the way, I love that you can lean around.
Expect PDC here shortly.
Roger, thanks.
Delta 7821, keep her rolling, runway 25 right, wind
It's distracting,
250
yeah.
at 6, RNAV dock,
Okay,
clear for takeoff.
let's get rid of that.
Cleared for takeoff.
I think it's going to work for certain
Delta
things. I'm going to make
78.
specific videos.
Southwest 2675, thank you for your patience, runway 24 left, line up and wait.
Line up and wait 24 left, Southwest 2675. So, clear on the approach, clear on the left, lights are on.
November 85
Brakes
on,
released.
November whiskey.
Yeah, if it starts making you feel dizzy, let me know.
Echo, hold short 25.
So now I've got head and a little bit of eye tracking on.
Say again for November Whiskey.
8 November whiskey, come all the way out of the ramp, make a right turn on Echo.
I haven't
hold
used
short,
track
runway
IR for a
24
while,
left.
but yeah,
Wheels
you can
up
go
time of
forward and
about 10
backwards.
minutes, so you can taxi really slowly and it won't affect you that much.
I think I'm going to tone. It's a little bit sensitive when I have the microphone in front of me, so I think I'm going to have to tone that down a bit. Danny Room, all good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
7821, contact
Great to
SoCal
have you
departure
back.
24.3.
Let's just check it says 24 left. Yes, it does.
Contacting 124.3, Delta 781. Thanks for the service, have a good one.
You too.
I think what we'll do, what if we turn on the eye tracker just for the takeoff roll? How about that? So we're now ready to go.
Southwest 2675, information only. It's going to be about 5 minutes before I can get you up. As soon as I can and I can get a release, I'll be rolling you in sequence.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, Southwest 2675. Yeah, okay, we're going to use the eye tracking for the takeoff, and then that's it. It doesn't like when I notice, it's fine if the microphone stays still, but it hates
November
when I
851,
move the
November
microphone.
whiskey.
So that's quite
Expect
interesting.
wheels up, time in the departure release around 1745.
Expecting 1745 for November Whiskey.
I can just turn it off with the press of the button, which is quite handy. It's quite nice as well. In the Airbus, if you sit like this, you have to hold the brakes, and it can get... After 5 minutes of holding the brakes, I'd definitely be thinking about setting the parking brake. Or I'm going to turn off this screen so it flashes up if there's a problem. I think that's what they do. Yeah, whereas the Boeing, it seems you can just sort of sit here. Yeah, watching the stream, the head eye tracking moves a bit too fast. Yeah, I'm going to turn that down. Good to know, good to know. Got to try these things. I haven't really touched the simulator since making my video on it. It's fun for me to use though, I must say. No, Steve, I haven't changed the settings on the Toby. I haven't had the time, sadly. So yeah, I've already toned the eye tracking right down because the eye tracking affects it slightly. That I'll show you. So that's reset. So now I'm keeping my head still and I'll use the eyes, and that's all it does. and I might even turn that off, I'm not sure, but the head tracking it does is really robust. I really like it, and it worked in the dark as well, whereas the app I used was good in lots of situations, but there were occasions where it didn't quite handle it, and it had to connect through a network, so yeah, it drained the battery, so you had to charge your phone. But great, I mean the app was great and much cheaper, so it's definitely a viable option for head tracking. But this is good fun, and particularly I'm going to see if I can find some good uses for that overlay. The problem I'm having with the eye tracking is I'm keeping my head still and then looking down at the comments, and it drags the camera to the left like that. Are you not allowed to use the parking brake when on the runway? A lot of people don't like to. I don't know of any airlines that have it as an absolute rule, but a lot of people are nervous because what they don't want to do is set takeoff thrust with the brake on, because it will create a config horn. Oh, let's do the config test. Yeah, that's good. Good news. Oh, well, I do need to hold it on the brakes if I do that. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I think if I can just turn down, keep the center locked, I'm moving my head a bit, but then it just jumps a bit too much out here. I don't need to be able to turn my head that far around in an airliner. That's more like a DCS sort of thing. And I think I'll turn off the eye tracking because it is. I'm reading the chat like that. All things to learn. We have to learn. Let's put some terrain on. Is that an option?
Southwest 2675, got an early release for you, sir. Our nav Delray, wind 250 at 6, runway 24 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 24 left. Southwest 2675, thank you. Here we go then. Right, eye tracking coming on. Sorry if you hate it. We'll just try it out for this one. So, down to the engines, 40%. There it is. Toga, N1, Toga, slight forward pressure. Thrust is set. Quite sensitive on the first part, but that's probably because my nose wheel tiller is slightly out of pedals. There's a flight register for pitch, 80 knots, so pressure to neutral.
1311, come all the way out of the ramp, left turn Bravo.
It's derated quite nicely to 86, so that did work at least.
Left Bravo all the way at the end of American
V1, rotates. Can't see the runway looking in. Positive climb, gear up. What's slightly artificial is, of course, I'm looking around in the simulator. Now, it never works.
2675, I enjoyed your content, sir. From this point of view, it's been a pleasure. Contact center for me now, 135.55. So long. Have a great flight.
Thanks so much. Thanks for looking after us so well. Thanks for putting up with all our traffic. Really appreciate it. And that's 13555, Southwest 2675. Goodbye. Thank you. Right.
Welcome.
We got a frequency change to do. That's really, really nice controller there. Now, I'm going to
November 8
turn off the head tracking, turn off the eye tracking. We're in LNAV VNAV. Let's get an autopilot in. We're about to accelerate. So there we go. It's bugged to 230, which is good. Lowering the nose. It's in LNAV VNAV 13555. I already have pre-selected, so that's good. We're accelerating now above the 1. I can bring the flaps up one stage. So let's talk to control. Departure Southwest 2675 on a summer 2 departure, passing 2,700, climbing 5,000.
That's 2675 Los Angeles Center. Good morning. Radar contact. Climb and maintain 13,000.
Climb and maintain 13,000. Southwest 2675.
Meaning 1320. Expect ILS 25 left
up.
approach.
13,000.
ILS 25 left for wings 1320.
In the window.
Southwest 135, over.
That's 135. Copy. Thank you.
13,000 is in. Flaps can definitely come all the way up. There they are. Acceleration to 250, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, that 33 heavy. Expect vectors ILS 25 left
Thanks,
approach.
Fly 24. Good to see you here.
33 heavy.
Ethan says, I love the head tracking. Reminds me of those videos in the cockpit on YouTube. Good. Okay.
Del 7821. Radar contact lost. Southwest 2787,
now,
expect the RNAV Yankee runway 27
R2
approach,
can go off,
Limburg,
0, air temperature outside,
uniform.
where's that written? Temperature.
Expect RNAV Yankee 27 in San Diego.
How do you judge the anti-ice in this airplane?
That was 617 at Bourbon, cleared ILS 26 left approach.
Remember to turn packs on if not already. Ah yes, they should be in auto. Packs are on. And also, yeah, we did packs on takeoff.
2787, information Victor just came up. Altimeter 3000
We are
at
rocketing
Limburg.
up. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. In the FMS, this flight 24, thank you.
1320 at Seaview, cleared ILS 25 left approach.
At Seaview, cleared ILS
it
from
in
wing
here
25
somewhere?
left approach, for wing 1320.
That's for landing. That's our route. Climb. Top of the MFD.
Yeah, 33, information Papa current at LA.
Oh, there it is, plus 26.
We have proper book. We have 33 heading.
Well, really warm. We're so far, so yeah, didn't need that. Lovely.
1208, Lima Airspace North, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, Oakland Center offline, switch to advisory 122.8, see you later.
Going to 122.8, double 8, see ya.
I am not the same as Airbus FTW. I certainly wouldn't want to take credit for Airbus FTW's hard work, so there you go. No, we are not the same. I certainly wouldn't have time to run 2 channels. Yeah, good question. What does PAX Auto do? If anyone knows, that'd be great.
Afternoon, LA Center, Delta 1038 with you, flight level 340, about 13 miles east of the Cibola waypoint.
Steve, I agree. I'm glad you liked it. 10,000 feet,
Squawk
accelerating,
7211.
lights off.
7211 in the box, Delta 1038.
Runway turn off, I suppose. Taxi off, don't need any of those. We'll put these 2 off. Time for the after takeoff checklist. So engine bleeds are on. PAX
That was
Auto.
2675, climb maintain level 340.
Climb maintain level 340, Southwest 2675. 340 it is. We need to get above 18,000 before it will let us. FMC speed, VNAV path. If I just do level change, let's go. Let's go, let's go. N1, MCP speed. So land and get up. I want it to go off, but it doesn't. It won't do that because of my TCA, so I'm going to just leave it alone before I make a mess. Flaps are up and we've got no light. So that's good. Next is descent checklist. So we won't have long on this flight to get that stuff ready. How do I get the terrain to display?
1038, radar contact 46 miles east of the Imperial VOR, descend Lucky 1 arrival.
Descending the Lucky 1 arrival, Delta 1038. I'll be vacating 340
Data?
in a moment here. I'm showing top of descent.
Terrain.
Copy.
It's right
Take your
there.
time.
Obviously. Oh, look at that. I've never seen that before.
1500 next.
Didn't know it had so many options. That's what I'm used to.
Center, radar contact, climb maintain 13,000.
13,000, American 1311.
Lovely stuff. Beautiful day for flying now that fog's clearing up. BSD is nice. Yeah, agreed. Just good, Jeff. Yeah. Not so says, when are you flying for real again? All the time at the moment.
Los Angeles Center, good morning, Squawk 7.
Yeah, we've had some great controllers today, Google. Totally agreed. Steve says if you reverse the bindings on the landing gear on release, you'll be able to click the middle position of the mouse. Okay.
2787 at Lindy, Clark, RNAV, Yankee, runway 27 approach.
Where's this controller controlling? Is that are we getting? Is any of that information useful for us? Is KSFO on there?
RNAV Yankee 27 approach.
No, I don't think they are.
In Limburg, Southwest 2787.
American 1032, radar contact 22 miles east of the Bard VOR.
Cosnex is the balance you tell the computer for how fast you want it to go. So how much fuel do you want to burn versus how quickly do you want to get there. So the higher the Cosnex, the faster the airplane will fly. Oh, I'm going to have to keep updating the heading bug. So I think Flight 24 then was talking about static air temperature, which will be in here somewhere.
That was 135. Descend rounders to arrival, 26 left transition. Information here current at Las Vegas.
Up here, just the total. Right, there we go, amber, so that's good. So we can press B.
We're descending via the ready
we can't. I just need to go to standard. So standard, please.
For Las Vegas, Southwest.
Oh, they're synchronized. There we go. Standard. Great stuff. So that's all work. Let's check the pressurization. And let's let the passengers walk around. Short flight, but and we've got cabin altitude is climbing, diff pressure 6.5, 500 feet per minute up. All looking good. Really, I need to get used to just sort of
LA Center, hello, Alaska 602 at Burbank, IFR to San Diego, ready to copy.
Need to get used to this. It just always reminds me how much looking around I do when running a stream. I like the stickers on the window. That's cool. Nice detail. Every part on an airplane is labelled and serialised so they know exactly who made it and what parts went into it, just in case something happens to it. I think everything else is good. You don't have to arm the speed brakes to take off, I do know that.
Contact, climb and maintain 13,000.
So I think let's just get up to our cruise. Very short. Oh no, top of climb is actually a bit of a way away. So what we'll do is I might get the charts ready. Look at the right side, that's where all the terrain is. Oh yeah, wow, that is good.
Speed wings 1981, is that 6,000 with you?
That is very nice. Let's go to KSFO. Charts. We're arriving via Surfer.
Fairwings 1981, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000.
10,000 for Speedwings 1981, thank you.
South 2787 at Lindy, cleared RNAV Yankee, runway 27 approach. I think I already gave that to you.
Hard. Surfer 4.
Copy, you did give that already, Southwest 277.
So yeah, they're not online.
Right,
what's the most likely arrival
1320, contact tower 120.95, see you later.
Today? What do people think?
120.95, Spirit 1320, have a
If I have to fly an RNAV.
You too, American 1311, climb maintain level 330.
We've done that once in Australia. I don't know if many of you remember that. We flew an RNAV and it almost went okay until the very end. Thanks, Rakon.
Okay, aircraft at Burbank was calling for clearance. Who's that?
Thanks, Fly with Aldo. Thanks for coming along. See you next time. So is everyone enjoying the PMDG? I certainly am. I think it's very nice. And this scenery, is this updated specifically since the America update? Because it's breathtaking. This is why I wanted to fly here again after our fun with it on the approach into Los Angeles. It was great. Something we're not used to.
Los Angeles, 1671.
United 33 Heavy.
Nobody says they almost always land on the 28s.
You are 10 miles from GG, right turn 220, maintain 3,500.
When it's VMC, they fly staggered parallel approaches that don't feel legal. Yes, I've seen a video of one of those. Okay, cool.
220, maintaining 3,500 to establish, then cleared our left approach 25 left, United 33 Heavy.
November 851, November Whiskey, climb maintain level 360.
Climb maintain level 360, November Whiskey.
Danny Rubel says, with the packs both in the auto position, they say if pack 1 isn't operating for whatever reason, the other pack automatically switches to high airflow instead of normal. Oh, very good. There you go.
South 7821, radar contact
auto position always sounds good to me. Danny J says, yes, this is a great airplane. If someone explains it to you, can't wait to fly it again after following your setup.
South 617, contact tower.
It's surprising what you can get away with in the 73, but it's having that confidence that you have got roughly the right things set up in there. We're going to have a little bit of time in the cruise. Oh, beautiful.
South 2787, wind 270 at Niagara, runway 27, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 27.
Frank says it's cool being able to see the landscape turn to desert to the east, and once you get a bit further north, you'll have Central Valley off your left wing. Yeah, you've got these hugely populated areas, massive mountains, desert.
Southwest 8375, Los Angeles Center. Good morning, Squawk 7337, ident.
I don't know how much Americans know about Europe in general, or their knowledge of the Alps if they don't fly long haul to go over there.
Fairway 1671 at
the Alps is the most typical range that I cross, and it's probably not as vast as this. It looks more impressive with the snow because, of course, it's much colder.
761, descend rounders to arrival.
I don't know how much of the year these are covered in snow, but yeah, this is just massive by comparison. The Alps are a very narrow line, really. It doesn't take long to get past them. They're not really a worry for us because if our engine fails and we have to descend, usually we'll descend higher than them. And if we have to depressurize, even if it's right on top of Mont Blanc, you can just turn around or keep going depending on whether you're over halfway, and by the time you're down, you're probably past the Alps. Although there is a slight moment where you'd have to level off early, probably, but yeah. Very tall but not very large, exactly, Larry, yeah. George says, what's the difference between gear up and off? Oh, I do know that. Gear up means the gear system is still pressurized by the hydraulics. If you turn it off, it depressurizes and it's just held in mechanically. So that's what you want for the cruise. There we go, MTP speed out acquired. We did rocket up to 340. The Airbus doesn't have an off position because it automatically depressurizes the hydraulics in the gear when you go over a certain speed in the climb, and it will automatically repressurize the landing gear when you slow down in the descent. So lo and behold, completely automatic in the Airbus. No surprise. 34,000 feet, there it is. Standard set. Out holds. I don't think there's much else we need to do at this point. Passenger out. Who knows? This A keeps appearing over here. Why does A appear over here? Is it... what's it saying? Oh, getting a bit bouncy. I feel like it's a warning that it doesn't want to fly that speed, but yeah. You want VNAV.
20 pre-push Crimson.
Because your speed is slow. Ah, we did level change, didn't we? So if I press VNAV... That seems to be quite happy. FMC speed, VNAV path.
United 33 heavy contact tower 120.95.
To me, in the Airbus, that looks fine, but I think in the Boeing, I mean, decimal 7 is fine. You don't want to cruise much slower, but I assume it's just because it's such a short flight and we got a low cost next. It's quite happy with that. You need to go above the speed if it says A. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks, and then for the subscription. Good stuff. Right, we're going to run out of legs soon. But the arrival in, so we reckon it's going to be on the 28s in
1907 pre-departure coordinates.
San Francisco. Nice overview chart. It's going to suit us. So 28s here over the water. That's what I wanted to do. So let's say 28 left, so we don't have to cross the runway. We can swap it over quite easily. Let's 28 left, and
that was 2828 Los
coming
Angeles
in via
morning, squawk
Surfer
7313 ident.
So let's see if we can find the Surfer 4. Yeah, we did already actually.
Delta 2339, leave my airspace east, radar service terminated, frequency change approved,
Surfer 4 brings us out to
Folet. 2.8,
so Eddie's probably going to be a good transition. Unable, that's fine.
23.
And now,
actually, do you have an airport I could divert to in your frequency?
Oh, it's a bit much. You get a longer range on some of these 73, 640. You don't get that on the Airbus. Let's execute that.
Yeah, if we can we divert towards there?
Glide slope on. Yes, we're going to use the glide slope.
We just got it extinguished.
Let's zoom in. Let's go to plan. Oops, someone's had a fire, have they?
That's 2339, left turn, setting 340 for now. And
there it is.
Maintain level
Eddie
240.
in RS, pretty straightforward.
Heading 40.
Hope that wasn't us, no.
Left turn 340, maintain flight level 240.
Jeff says, hi, 220 pilot. I have my first trial flight on Sunday, and then after this, I'm looking to start my LAPL.
So that's 2828, radar contact 68 miles southeast
any
of the
advice from
Kingman
training?
VOR.
Great to see you, Jeff.
Rockstar 2 arrival.
Thanks for coming along, and good luck with your lessons. I am very jealous. That'd be good fun. Any advice from training? You're just going to have to... you'll get, your instructors, I'm sure, is going to be, you'll get to know your instructor and their style, and I'm sure they'll be excellent. If they're not, of course, you can always shop around for a different flight school. But yeah, advice from training and light aircraft is a tricky one.
Air Shuttle 5746 Burbank altimeter.
I just remember reading everything I could from the getting the theory tucked away.
That was 135 at Bourbon, cleared LS 26.
And I had a really great book, and I've forgotten the name of it now, which is really annoying. So the reading material, if your instructor gives you reading material...
So that was 135, copy?
And I think it... Oh, I wish I remember the name of it now. It was a book, and it would be out of date now. It went through the PPL syllabus and described each lesson, basically, and what you would cover, and it had like visual cues as to what you might need to
Star 71 Romeo Heavy,
what you might need to
terminated.
look at out the window, and just the basics as opposed to just the theory, and it was sort of like the practical things you might need to do in that lesson, and that was very good. So if they give you reading material, I recommend soaking that in. Yeah, don't skimp on that.
Leave my airspace, frequency change.
Your time in the airplane is obviously very expensive.
Salt Lake Center's offline, have a good flight.
But yeah, enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
It's great.
Great.
Help here today, Qatari 71 Romeo Heavy.
And if you don't manage everything first time, definitely don't get upset about it. No one gets through their flying career managing everything first time. It doesn't happen. There is always a moment where we have to try again, a retake or whatever else. So don't get upset about that. If it happens at some point, it's totally normal. There's just too many
530-40 on frequency.
Tests and exams and so on. But yeah, enjoy. Yeah, there is a random noise in this PMDG, and I don't know what it is. Frank's going to do ILS 28.
Hello, Delta 548 Heavy passing.
Steve got a 3080 and loving it. Had to keep a lot of graphic settings from a 1080 over
maintain flight level 340.
Yeah, I've got a 3080.
Maintain flight level 340.
Love it.
So 548 Los Angeles.
I reckon
Center.
I could increase the resolution. I'm tempted to go 4K for the videos at some point.
13,000.
Danny says, I feel like now I'm pretty decent in finding my way around the 737 cockpit. The major thing I keep finding difficult is getting a hang on the FMC, especially when I'm used to the MCDU. Yes, it's a little less demanding, I think. It's less integrated in some respects. But here's our RMP. Yeah, it's still here. It's just a slightly different format. So we've done that. Don't need to do any more of that. Don't need anything in there. We've got our legs and we've checked them. We've done our arrival. But what we do need to do is to go to the approach reference. So let's land. I'm thinking flap 30 would be the normal.
Delta 2379 Center. What approach are you going to have us on for LAS?
Left. And
Delta 2339 expect vectors to the
ILS
26 left approach. Continue present
the ILS 2 right in case we get given that. That's annoying. I hoped it would put that at the end so I couldn't confuse the two, but it hasn't. There we go. So we're going to start off with the left. Then we go 28 left, lands, vacate to Echo, straight into the terminal, and we want to park terminal 1B. Down.
Wings 1981.
That's the current plan. So let's go for flaps 30. I think that's the sort of standard unless you're on a short runway. But we might need to change the weight later on. Maybe you can put in the landing weight there. I think that speed will keep adjusting. At the moment, VAP of 135 because we had 5 in the Boeings. Something we used to do on the dash as well, but not on the Airbus. So at the moment, 135. We're not going to be much lighter by the time we fly our approach. Auto brake, therefore. They seem quite soft, the auto brakes. In the Airbus, obviously, we only have 2 settings. I'm going to go for 2 and then take over if I need to. We're going to go for flap 30. There doesn't seem to be any GPWS system I need to tell. I think telling the CDU is automatically tells that. So that's good. And then I need to tune 10955 284.
Yeah, 220, say again.
284.
Ready to taxi, United 220.
284. So yeah, as ever, any new airplane we fly on the channel, once you get it in the air, it's almost the same, and then the descent, approach and landings are very similar. I say that, and now obviously I'll make a complete hash of it. There we go. 10955 to tune on the nav. I don't know. Do Boeing pilots sit there tuning nav aids en route, or do they? I can't imagine they have to do that. 10955 is set.
120
So now we've got both set up, so I'll engage both channels on the approach.
Take care.
Southwest 2828 approaching
Top of descent coming up in less than that, less than 80 miles. So 2, 3 and max watch brake are all commonly used. Okay, so maybe 3 then. So is 1 just sort of not worth using? Still no KSFO. Good.
Center Alaska 602 Burbank IFR to
Thanks, Tango. Enjoy your dinner. Thanks very much for coming along. See you next time. A lot of hidden pages, yes, indeed.
602, go to San Diego as filed, maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 1905 5 minutes after departure. Departure with me, squawk 7170. Read the beacon code only.
Bouncing around a bit.
7170.
Yeah, so we got our descent. We got a VNAV plan.
Reback is correct, spec 15 for departure.
CRT are just empty. The Airbus would be tuning VORs en route. I wonder if we're supposed to be doing that.
Freeways 1981, expect ILS 25 left approach.
Expecting ILS 25 left.
Anything useful in the fix? I don't know. You can put in 6 fixes. That's pretty good. We can, can I put in the threshold like in the Airbus?
Requesting a taxi to a gate. This is Southwest 2787. I don't have the best maps of
radio
San
distance
Diego
ETA.
here. I'm not sure what the gates are.
I'm not going to fiddle with that, but yeah, totally different setup for the fixes. Your checklist is on the yoke from your takeoff checklist. Ah, yes. Ah, you can move it. Pretty cool. This is left over. This is evacuation. I think you can change this in the PMDG options. So again, excellent customization.
Charlie Fox,
Very
keep
cool.
up the golf on the ground at Burbank.
Cat 3
VFR
airplane.
request.
Beautiful view.
LA Center, Southwest 1428, calling out of Vegas, direct Daru on the Joker 3.
Ah, okay. So we could go to legs.
1428, Los Angeles Center, good morning. Radar contact. Climb and maintain level 190.
Take that. Then we go to fix.
That was 135.
Drop it in there.
Contact tower,
There we go.
190.9, or see you later.
How do you put a ring around it? Radial distance.
Del 2339, descend
Just
and
to
maintain
that. Hey,
112
look at that. 25-mile ring. Yes. We could fly a Boeing. We'd get there.
Marshall 5746 at Wabbit, cleared RNAV Yankee, runway 8 approach.
RNAV Wabbit, cleared RNAV Yankee, runway 8. Shuttle 746.
Spearways 1981, descend and
E-Boss,
maintain
good to see you. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
3000,
Steve says, plane is a butter machine. I hope you enjoy it. Yes, I'm sure I can change that reputation.
South 2675, Lima Airspace North, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, Oakland Center offline, switch to advisory now, 122.8, see you later.
1228 Southwest 2675. Thanks very much, bye.
Bye.
1228.
Yeah, GT0.
Excellent controllers today, been so nice. I always get a little bit nervous talking to American controllers. What are the rings for? Well, those rings are just a backup for me, so that at 25 miles, I know that I want to be something like 7,000 feet, 250 knots, something like that. I wouldn't necessarily set them up for every flight. In fact, normally, the reason I default to 25 miles is because on this chart, this ring is by default 25 miles, so this is actually based on the San Francisco VOR, so it shouldn't be based on the threshold. So some pilots will put a ring in like that for an energy management sort of thing. So that's what it is today, really. But you can use it for terrain, so you could then draw in these radials. Well, let's do it. Let's do that properly then. So let's base it on the SFO 230 radial, 360 radial. Ah, but these are inverted, aren't they? Oh, why does it do that? 180. I think it would go in like this then. We'll check in a second. So 180. What's the inverse of 23050? There we go. So now I know that I'm approaching from this side, and in this area the MSA is 4,500. If I go north of that line, 5,000. So let's go to plan, zoom right in, and there it is. So there's the radial 050, which is actually 230 inbound. I don't know why they format it like that on here. Ridiculous. But there you go. So in this area, 4,500 feet is our lowest safe altitude. We're going to reach FOLET above 8,000. Let's just check the VNAV plan in here. So this has got FOLET at 8,000 or above, the A, which is correct. 240 knots, which it's got. And then we carry on from there. RS28 left. Via Eddy, 6,000 feet, which is in. Then we go from Sidby above 4 because this leg is at 4. 3-1 after that. So we're going to go below the MSA in, as we get past Eddy, but we're doing that as part of the procedure, so that's safe. And then we got Heman at 3-1 down to Duet, which is the fix at 1800, very low. So we'll probably intercept the RS further out. So I'll just intercept it ourselves because we don't need to be down at 3-1 at Heman, I'm hoping. So what I can do is just be a little bit high there. 12 miles out, 4,000 feet will intercept us on the glide slope, and we can do maybe a bit of a continuous descent. I do need to set the minima though. So we're going to do an RS to category 1, so 200 feet above 213. That goes up here, I think. So let's put the Barrow in. No, it's not Barrow, is it? Minimums. And then we're going to go to Barrow. There we go. And Barrow of 213. 213, there it is. And it's done on both sides, so that's good news. So that's the minimum put in. Good stuff. So let's go back to map. So to fly the approach, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like the Airbus. I think we just arm approach and the second autopilot and let it fly. We'll have to select our speeds ourselves. It won't do that automatically as we fly down. And the typical sequence in the 737 is going to be we slow down to flap 1, then flap 5, and then before we go to flap 15, we go gear down. So flap 5, then we go gear down, flap 15. Otherwise, we get the gear horn. and then we can arm the speed brakes and bring out the rest of the flap as we slow down. Limiting speed's quite high for those initial flap settings, I noticed. So 250 knots initially, faster than the Airbus. You can even go to flap 5 at 250, so pretty quick. Our initial flaps can only go out at 230 on most Airbuses. The 321, some of them are modified in the NEOs as well, but there we go. Going down to flap 30, 165 limiting, that's pretty typical. Gear can be dropped really fast. Surprisingly, you can extend the gear at 270 knots, which means if you were having a high and fast approach in the 7.3, you've got a really good option to drop the gear even at 270, which would be, if you were gear down 270 knots, my goodness, you'd get a really good rate of descent. Add in the speed brakes, you could fix a lot of things, probably ridiculously so, leading to a GPWS or something. So top of descent is coming up. In the Boeing, we can just put in the first altitude and it would just do it. I know it's going to manage all the descent, so I don't really know why I need to sit there putting them all in, but I'll start off with 200 just to be sensible. So if I just put that in the window, I think, because we're in VNAV, it's going to actually drop on its own. So I'll be busy chatting to you guys and the airplane will just start descending. Don't forget to put altitude of the airport. Yes, so well, it's sea level. I'm about 10 feet. So I suppose we can put that in. No, we can't. 50, too much. Alright, we'll leave that alone. And then does that go in? Where does that go in here? I think it's all done. Des. Just up a descent, target speed. Descent now. No, we don't want to do that. I know what I want to do though. I want to have that fancy pants. There it is. Look at that. Why doesn't it show our descent on it? Shouldn't it show? Is it the range? Oh, I see. It's 80 miles, but if you go to rows, it's 80 miles full scale. I see. Shouldn't it show the descent line, or does it not do that? Is it not like the... I see it shows a level off there. It's not like the... Click on forecast. These are all the winds. We can request them. Is that going to work? ISO deviation, QNH. Oh, I see the QNH. Right, so we need to get the MET. That's another thing that doesn't quite work here. METAR. Please find KSFO. There's so many airports though. No, it's not going to find it. Forecast uplink ready. Oh, maybe it works. Load. No, it didn't work. Needs to load the winds manually. Okie doke. Let's have a look. Use .meter KSFO on VPilot. Thank you very much, Lauren V. I didn't even know you could do that. Dots. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right, that's great. So, 21 degrees. So that's ISO deviation is +6 on the ground. Imagine having to do this. Altimeter 3000. No, it's not happy. There's that rumbling noise. Is it to do with the right mouse click? Only putting QNH. Oh. Nope. Ugh. I see. Thanks. 30.00. If they needed the dot, why didn't they put the dot in? ISO +6. There we go. Unable 280 knots at nearly executes. Perfect. Again, I can't get too excited about the descent winds. I think it will manage close enough. I mean, what's the winds now? 49 from the left, so... Yeah, that rumbling. I know, that rumbling. Does anyone know? Does anyone else have it? I get it all the time, especially in the descent phase. So I'm afraid I don't know what it is. There's retard on the thrust levers. We now have path, so they should now come back. Down we go. Ah, thank you. So Justin says it's right mouse click when the gear is in the up position instead of off. Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to get that solved for the next one. Lauren B says 737, it's just noisy in the cockpit. Airbus is not. Indeed, the pilots on the 73 will often have the full-size noise-cancelling headsets compared to the Airbus pilots who don't necessarily need those. It is noisier in the flight deck, partly because it's a bit faster, but also pointier-nosed airplanes tend to be noisier. Don't ask me why, it just seems to be the case. Ahmed says, good evening. I hope my question is not too simple. Never. You can ask whatever you like. Is there a specific way of how to park the airplanes as you enter the ramp? Every time I was not able to park it on the centerline. So for that, sadly, in real life, we get marshallers or guidance systems. So if your add-on or your airport that you're parking at doesn't have those in the sim, then you won't really get the luxury of having that, because it can be tricky. Having said that, mostly we have no trouble parking even without the marshaller, or the marshaller's just there to tell us when to stop more than to tell us how to get on the centre line. The centre line is just something you learn to judge. For example, in the A320, if you put the line to come between the screens, that means your nose is on it. Remember, we taxi around a lot, and as we taxi around, you can actually feel the wheels bump on the lights on the taxiway and so on. So pilots, I used to think it's just luck if they're on the centre line when I was younger, but no, it's a very specific thing. You just get so used to it when you spend enough time flying them. So following the centre line is actually surprisingly simple, and you can just apply that same technique onto stand. So you line yourself up coming onto the stand with the centre line, and then obviously that centre line will disappear under the nose, but by then you just keep yourself straight. The 4-star checklist down to the line is usually completed. It can be completed at any point, even before boarding's finished on the Airbus. The point of that checklist is that the flight is ready to go up to the point you're about to start engines. So you'd have the fueling complete, you'd have your load sheet, obviously you'd have done all your performance, you'd have done your brief, so there'd be nothing else to do except get ready for the actual procedure to start the engines. That's when you do that. Lauren V says, V1 said he had his own headset in the Embraer but doesn't bother and just uses the built-in for the Airbus. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. The Airbus is not that loud. You can get away without a headset or even noise cancelling on it if you try hard enough. Some are noisier than others though. The A319 certainly might make that more of a challenge than the, for example, 320 NEO, which is lovely and quiet. No worries, Ahmed. George says, is it only captain that taxis on the ground? In the 7.3, mostly yes, because that's where the captain's tiller is. FO does not get such a luxury. Also, check out the space in here. This is the big thing about the 7.3. It's so much smaller. It's just, yeah. Old style seats. They move back and to the left slightly so you can get in, but it is certainly cramped by comparison to the Airbus. The Airbus, for example, just it gets wider and wider. You've got bins and everything. Windows are smaller. Obviously not an actual problem, but there you go. Paul says, would pointy nose planes allow the air to rush over the entire nose, flat nose create an umbrella of air that goes around? Maybe that's it. Indeed, Paul. Yeah, could be it. Robbie Barrington says, hey 320 Sim, love the channel and I'm constantly watching you. Fantastic videos and streams. Thanks very much, Robbie, really appreciate it. As an avid sim pilot, I'm wondering what streaming client do you use and which overlay do you use? I'm using FlyLive Studio for the overlay, and I use Streamlabs to stream. But thanks for coming along, glad you like the streams. Evo says, this used to be Boeing 707 long haul flight deck, crazy. Indeed it is, yeah, yeah. And 747s have very small flight decks as well, famously, compared to things like 777. But the Airbus, it's such a lovely design, such a great office to sit in. Michael says, I assume 737 needs less runway than as A320. No, I don't think. I think they're about similar. I don't think there's much difference. Maybe the 700 here is more like a 319 than a 20, but there's not much difference between them really, to be honest. What other add-ons do you need to fly as you do? Any subscriptions to nav charts? Yes, Jas and I use Navigraph charts. That's the subscription you do really need. And then, of course, the FMS databases as well. That's just because I fly on that sim. If you're not using VATSIM, then you don't have to worry so much, but the charts are still going to be useful, but you could use sort of outdated ones and you wouldn't need the FMS ones perhaps, but charts are good, definitely. That's about it. Devil Rider, it's available on Steam, that's right, I got it. VNAV path, all looking good. So why isn't it showing me like a planned line? It's just showing me a current line, isn't it? Or is that, I suppose that would be the same. What happens if I go off the line? Let's go into vertical speed. Let's reduce the vertical speeds and see. Ah, there we go, yes. It shows us our new line. Interesting. That's cool. Very cool. You're welcome, Justin. No worries, Robbie. No worries at all. It's very early in Australia indeed. So thanks for joining us. Got to pick up the wife soon. The wife has been up even earlier. That sounds like a long night. So hope you get some sleep in soon. You're very welcome. Yeah, entirely related to the mouse. That's very interesting. It's good to know. Good to know we can fix that rumbling. Yeah, look at that. You can see the line change. That's great. Let's put it back to VNAV. Down it goes. Frank says, pretty epic approach into SFO. No visibility due to low clouds. Yes, it's been a cloudy day there, sadly. But I'm sure one day we'll hop up from San Francisco. I was thinking of going San Francisco to Seattle. I couldn't quite justify it today. It was a bit too long. I couldn't fit in. I was going to do Los Angeles to Seattle, but I thought it'd be good to see San Francisco, which is such a core part of the flight simming sort of community, isn't it? We've all flown there a lot. Gary says, you probably don't want to say it, but I think there's no competition as far as automation goes when it comes between Airbus and 737. Oh yeah, absolutely. But Airbus doesn't have this little screen. I like that. Unable 280 knots. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Dockers, thanks for the follow. Lauren B says, Microsoft Flight Simulator keeps their nav data pretty up to date, and in the US all charts are freely accessible. Charts from many countries can be accessed via ChartFox, though they may be slightly out of date. Thanks so much, lovely. There you go. Some good advice there. Roy says, question, when I'm flying an RNAV approach with managed descent, do I have to set the out bug to the radio out, or do I have to dial every out in manually? I'm not sure about your question, Roy. If you're talking about the FCU altitude, this altitude up here, in the Airbus when flying a VNAV, you just put in the platform altitude and then press approach and then you leave it there. I do have a video. If you search 320 SimPilot RNAV, I've got 2 videos on RNAV approaches. So watch those and you'll be able to see on YouTube. I've got at least 2, plus all the streams we've done. Bear says, how do you feel about the difference between VATSIM in the USA versus Europe? I do a lot of US VATSIM flying and frankly pretty nervous about doing so in other countries. Yeah, well, I was nervous of coming to the US compared to all my Europe flying, and they've been absolutely lovely with us. So I've definitely relaxed about that. Other parts of the world I wasn't quite so worried about, but I know America has a particular style to it. Whereas I felt that places like Australia were a bit more similar, and most of those places are offline when we go there anyway, but the USA, when I do these times like this, do tend to be online. So it's, yeah, USA, if you can handle the US, I think Europe would be just fine. Europe's more a little bit more standardized. The philosophy in Europe seems to be that using the exact phrases works in our favor, whereas in America there seems to be a bit of a sense that using a more casual tone can allow, a more natural tone I should say, can allow more information to be shared more efficiently perhaps, and I have no reason to believe that is right or wrong. So there you go. That seems to be my just from a observation, that seems to be what I can tell. That's interesting. So it's in VNAV and it's slowing down even though I don't think it needs to. Why is it doing that? Is that to do with it thinking it's high on the profile? I put in 15,000, LNAV, VNAV out. Why won't it go down? It's getting above the profile, as you can see here. It's 2,000 feet high. We're just going to have to go level change, override it. Out intervention. Oh, not that one, that one. VNAV speed. There we go. That's better on that VNAV. Does it have a range of speed? It doesn't look like it does. Looks like I'm going to have to do that myself. So if I go to speed intervene, and then I can wind the speed up to try and get it back to profile. Let's try that. Let's go right down. 737s do seem to descend slowly. If you're following a 737 in a descent, it seems to always take forever. Or you inevitably get slowed down. There says, yeah, we have a lot of free-flowing expressions here. Exactly, yeah. Thanks for the out intervention advice. RH good to see you. Peter says, can the tow be set on top of the screen? I have the FCU in front of my middle screen. It's not my cup of tea to set my screens higher. That's interesting. You wouldn't need to raise your screen much. It's quite small, as you saw in the video. However, it did say to set it below. That was what the instructions said. MCP speed VNAV out, because we're getting towards 15. I can reset now. Let's put 8 in. This is my fault. I should just put in the lower altitude. Let's put 4 in. Let's put 3-1 in. It's just going to fly the constraints as it should. 3-1 in the window. And then we need to go to out intervention. Reach out and VNAV speed. Why are we having to intervene on the altitude? Why doesn't it want to just regain it when we put in the new altitude? That's a strange thing to me. We are currently 300 feet high, so what I can do is get rid of speed intervention. So FMC speed, LNAV VNAV path. That feels like a good place to be. We're 100 feet above on the profile, but the problem now is, although we're only 100 feet high now, we are at a high speed. So in the Airbus, I would let's see what happens. VNAV speed. So I think it's just going to remain at idle thrust and maintain the profile. Let's see. Let's see. There is a risk that it might try and reduce on the speed first, which is what it looks like it's doing. So now it's raising the nose to reduce the speed, so we're going to get high on the profile again. So we aren't quite done. Back to speed intervention, keep the speed up. Let's get below the profile and then we can do the same thing. 300 knots, perfectly safe for the descent. Yeah, it is indeed going all wrong again. That's going to be the theme of this approach, I think. So on the approach, we talked about the configuring. I just need to remember to arm the speed brakes and put the go around altitude in. The go around altitude on this procedure is 4,000 feet outbound, 275 to Olim, and then hold 4,000 feet. So 4,000 feet goes in the window once we're on the ILS, and then we land. I have to press F2 for the reverses because I haven't got it working with my thrust levers. Update the speed in the descent page. It will pitch for speed. Oh, I see. There you go. So we could also just change the descent speed. Targets. Yeah, so that's just like the Airbus, which has you can change the managed speed in there. So it wants to do 240 knots down to 10 or below 10, I think. Cool, cool, cool. So there you go. We're now 100 feet high. We're going to get back below the profile, and then we can change it. I have indeed done real go-arounds. Several. Yeah. I think these are just Boeing things, as far as I can tell. So let's have... Yeah, I think I'm going to turn off the eye, because it means that I'm... What happens is I look at the heading. Let's sit properly. Let's get it set right. Ooh. Okay. I look at the heading, and then if I try to look back, the camera moves, which is obviously a nuisance because that's not what I want. Because I want to look down here and then back up at the heading. So that's, yeah, I think I'm going to turn that off. Lots of learning to do. Indeed, there is. Right, Eddie at 6. It's fine, it's following everything. I can leave it alone. Let's get rid of the speed intervention because it should want to reduce now. So it's slightly low on profile. 8,000 feet we've met at Follett. ISFO is identified. Drag required, so it doesn't think it can make this next segment. There we go. There's this is cool. I like this. There's our line. Yeah, it should be 250 knots. It's fine. Don't worry about it. 25 degrees, so it's nice and warm again. Bit of a tailwind now. That wind has swung round. That's not helping. So if I'd actually put the winds in, that would have warned us about this. So it's quite, that would be Airbus would get stuck to there probably with the tailwinds. Drag required. We've got drag. So I'm going to use that drag, get the airplane right back on speed, and then get it back into VNAV. VNAV did look bugged before, but looks normal again now. Yeah, it seems to be okay. Love the graphics on the wing. If you want this livery, it's available in the description for the. Sorry, there's a pin message on YouTube for it. Tom says, you're flying at Southwest, so it's okay to do a Texas 250. Perfect. Yeah, again, if there was a controller, I'd ask them to let me fly a bit fast. Arm, LNAV, VNAV speed, seems to be working out. Coming back to 240. Zoom in a bit. We've got 3-1 Heman, which should work out. That's where we want to be, about 4,000 feet. FMC speed, VNAV pass, so speed brakes in. Here's a question. If I leave them out, does it give us a warning? Let's leave the speed brakes out. The Airbus would eventually come up with an ECAM. Ah, well, it won't matter now because it's trying to slow down anyway. Let's get rid of those. Right, descent checklist, landing altitude we've done, recall checked, auto brake we've gone for 3, landing data, VRF and minimums are set, approach briefing complete. Next is the approach, altimeters are set. Well, these are nice and short, I like these. Okay, fair enough. Nice sort of checklists. So now it's winding the speed back. So I'll let it do that. Drag required, can do. I'm just going to let the PMDG take the strain here. 14 miles out, 4,000 feet. So we're good, we're just a bit fast, hence the drag required message. Well within range to start putting flaps out now. Here's another thing that's very easy to do in a real aeroplane. You'll notice that it feels like we're a lot higher up and further out. If we could see out the windows right now, we'd be low. We're 4,000 feet. The ground is not far away. We're nearly intercepting the approach. So yeah, it's time to arm it. It's confusing. If you're in the cloud too long, you in your mind you're further away, which can lead to a risk of an unstable approach. I'm going to arm the approach. So Vor lock white and glide step is white and armed as well. Let's get flap 1 out. So if I leave it in VNAV and put out the flaps, will it automatically slow down? It will. So it does have a sort of managed speed. 10,000 feet. We should have done the seatbelts. Oh, not that one. Go that way. I'm surprised that's not in the checklist. Let's put all these lights on. Just have all of them, please. I'm going to put these to continuous now because I'll forget later. Single channel, we'll arm the second one. Hopefully that will work. Vor lock, it's done, it's intercepted. But we are 3,611 miles. So that should be good for the glide slope. But it doesn't seem to be working. I just think we're high. Should be 3.5, should be about right. Let's get the next stage of flap out. Got the speed brakes out. It's showing it as low, 10 miles, 3,300. We should be sort of spot on. Have I missed something? Is this like a steep approach that we've missed? 2.85, it's slightly shallow, so it's actually below us. Let's see if we can make that work. So vertical speed, let's dive it down, 2.3. It's going to capture the altitude. Let's force that up and then do vertical speed again. Does that work? Keep going down, please, airplane. Get a bit more flap out. Flaps to 5. There's the glide slope. So yeah, it gets a slightly shallower approach than I predicted. If this happens, we're going to go gear down. Flaps to 5. Let's go flap 10. Let's use the extra drag we can. Glide slope is armed. 268 miles. 2,500 should be about 7.5. Should be slightly lower. I'm not convinced about this glide slope. At 5.3. 860. 7.7 should have been 1,800 for the platform. That's very shallow. That's really surprisingly shallow. 2,000 feet at 6 miles, that'll be about a 3 degree. I'm surprised it makes such a difference. Let's wind the speed right back. 135. Just got to gear down. Flaps to 15. Wow, this is a real challenge. Who knows how to fly go around in the 737? Because this isn't going to work. I can't believe it's so shallow. I've never seen it. I should have definitely spotted that in the brief. We've got the speed brake. I mean, it's ridiculous. Definitely not stable, not fully configured. So let's get rid of the speed brakes. We're going to go to 4,000 feet. There's a glide slope, but that's not good enough. So I'm going to do an automatic go around, which I'm hoping will work if I press that. Nope. 7.3 can't do that, apparently. Right. Come on. Toga, please. Why isn't it going to Toga? I've never had this happen. There we go. Right. Flaps to 15. They are. We've got positive climb. Gear up. Away we go. Goodness me. Don't want to hit those eyebrows. Trimming those down because, of course, it just throws the nose up. Yes, I know. I turned it off. So we're going to level off at 4 and accelerate. So 1,000 to go. Nose down. Thrust coming back. Certain that's not how you fly go around. The gear is up. That has to be done twice for some reason. There we go. Flaps to 5. As the power comes back, the nose drops. So constantly trim. Why is it giving me that message? Every time I don't know what it's complaining about. 4,000 feet. Flaps can come up. Nose drops right. Right, it's re-engaging the autopilot and then it's not letting me... Oh, I know why. Alt hold. Heading. We'll do a right hand circuit. That's definitely not the right way to do it. 220 knots, that's actually it's probably about right. We're clean. Let's do 220. Second stream in a row we've had to do a go around. Speed. Auto thrust arm. So my disconnect button must be a toggle. There we go. So MCP speed 220, that's fine. Heading select. Let's keep that coming round to the south. 4,000 feet in the window, which is not safe in this sector. Because the MSA in this sector was actually 5,000 feet. Let's go up to 5. Oh, wrong way, that way. We use the way to scroll. So above MSA, and then we're heading down this way, and then we can redo that RS. Nice thing in the 7.3 is this is all set still. We're going to reap it in 129, so 5 knots different there. Lots of traffic, so we'll stay above that at 5,000. Come on, airplane, 1,200 feet per minute up, please. Ground spoilers are disarmed. Leave the engines in continuous. I think everything else can stay. Lights can stay. So we get to 5. We'll be above this traffic, although they are departing and climbing. It is effectively uncontrolled now, so I won't get too upset. There we go. 1,000 feet to go. Turning downwind. San Francisco traffic. Southwest 2675. Right hand downwind. Runway 28 to land. Currently climbing to 5,000 feet. I'm not using the Thrustmaster yoke. No, I don't have the Thrustmaster Boeing yoke. Ethan says, Boeing's don't let you know, you've got to find out why it's yelling at you. Indeed. Right, well that screen is not so useful anymore. Let's get back to the normal one and zoom in. That traffic's 2.5 miles over there, so we're at risk of a TCAS off of them, but that's okay. 220 knots is fine. So does it have the approach in here now? Let's see. Let's do... So what? I'm really surprised at the difference in the altitudes. But yeah, 800 feet at 7.7 is incredibly low. So is the right a normal 3 degrees? No, right is 3 degrees, so 800 feet with 7.4. But, these DMEs must be yeah, the DMEs are different. This is where it's unraveling for me. I've never seen that. A co-located ILS DME, but the DME reached 2 at the threshold. So that must be true on this one as well. That difference of 0.15 doesn't make it as much difference. Yeah, it's 1.9 at the threshold. That's what I totally missed. I've never seen it. In Germany, famously, they have... so let's do 28 left again. I'm going to make it work. We'll just go via Heman to execute. And then what we'll do is we'll move Heman up in a minute. Yeah, so... I've never seen an ILS DME where you'd have a DME separate. In Germany, they have DME like a separate frequency, so it's based off of VOR, which is of course different. But the idea of having an ILS with a DME and then not co-locating it, I have no idea why that's done. I've never seen that. No worries, Cedric. Thanks, Frank. See you next time. The Phoenix is great flying frequency. I really like it. Thanks, Zed Cartwright, for the subscription. Yeah, I absolutely am amazed at that. Why would you have an ILS that isn't co-located to me? Why do you want it to have 1.9? The reason, if you're using a different nav aid, for example the San Francisco VOR, then of course it has to be a different distance because the VOR won't be located on the threshold of the runway. But if you've got a whole ILS set up that can, you know, it down to Cat 1 minima. Oh well, that explains a lot, and I should have spotted that. So that's my fault. Yeah, the angle was not such an issue, but that was. Anyway, Heman is a 3,100 feet. We're now in our safe sector to go down to 3,000. Sorry, 4,000, but we are going to go to 3.1 anyway, just because it's going to work. I'm sure you can be radar vectored there. Vertical speed. Down we go. Let's put Heman at the top. So to do that in the Boeing, you put it at the bottom like this. There's no direct to page. You put it up there. It draws a line. Execute, and then you've got to immediately, otherwise we'll miss our chance, press LNAV. Otherwise it will say there's no intercept. Again, Airbus goes straight into LNAV for you. So it thinks we're 1,300 feet high. We're high and fast, which is no surprise to me. I can put in VNAV. No, I don't like that. I don't know what that's doing. Let's put in level change. Let's bug 200-ish. Let's go down to 3,100 in MCP speeds. We're on the QNH. Good stuff. We are using Navigraph for the charts indeed. Yeah, so we are 2 miles closer than this suggests, which explains a whole lot about why I couldn't get that approach to work. That is something we brief normally. I've just never seen an ILS DME that does that. I don't know if there's any in Europe like that. Like I say, if it's a separate nav aid, there might be, but yeah. 7.6 tons on the fuel, plenty of fuel. Passengers still secured, so we can carry on. We haven't run the landing checklist, but the approach checklist was just the altimeters, so no change there. We've got the engine start switches in continuous. Next is those last couple of items. Good stuff. 4,000 feet, and we're at 12 miles, 4,000 feet. That makes a whole lot more sense. So we are actually slightly high and fast. So let's get flat 1 out, get the speed brakes out, and let's bug the 1 speed. In fact, let's get to flat 5 so we can start getting drag out, and we can force it down a little bit. Vertical speeds. 400 feet a minute should be more than enough. Flaps to 5. Bug the 5 speeds. Do 16. Don't want to mess it up again. We're 10 miles from the runway. 190 knots. That's okay. May need the gear soon. Arming the approach. Winding the altitude down and out of the way. Oh, 2,000 is a little bit much. Let's go back that way. Arm the second one. 1,500 should catch it from here. Getting fast now once again, so gear down. Glide slope is captured. 4,000 feet for the go around in there. Don't know why it's spooling up. Does it have a different idle when the gear's down? Let's go flat 15. And we're going to go for 134. Seems to be just spooling up, and I don't know why, but there we go. That's flat 10, that's flat 15. There we go. Speed brakes are armed. There. Flaps 25. Flaps 30. Yeah, that's the fixed rings would have worked really well there. Yeah, they'd have given that away. I can't get over that. Right, MCP speed, Warlock, glide slope, all good. It says single channel, so my second hasn't worked. Would it change to dual, or is there another reason? Anyway, glide slope is sensible now. 2,000 feet, 8 miles, which is actually 6 miles. That makes a lot of sense. We're gear down, auto brakes are armed. So let's do the last landing checklist. Speed brake is armed, landing gear down, 3 greens. Flaps are 30, and we've got the green light for the leading edge. Next is after landing. San Francisco traffic, southwest 2675, landing 5 miles out on 28 left. Just in time for landing, Mariner. Howdy, good to see you. Good night, Cedric. Thanks for sticking with us. Right. How's it looking? So that's 3 reds. Presumably those pappies are set to 3 degrees. Would be my assumption in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know if they update them for the actual angle. Grab, I like that. Very good. Then we'll go with that one. Good luck. Thanks, Anna J. Life as well. Thanks, Mariner. Very busy working. I hope life's treating you well as well. Thanks for coming along. So we are, this time, much more stable. I think this is a funny thing about Boeing's on approach. Like this huge gap here. In the Airbus we fly much closer to this. It has a totally different meaning, obviously that's the reason, but it's just a different, I find that a strange picture. I always think it looks like we're very fast in the Boeings. Right, let's just do the auto thrust first. So 55%. Let's get that set, because that changes the trim massively.
Traffic.
Okay, feet on the pedals, 55%. Because if we have to change that, we have to change the trim. That makes a complete mess of things. Autopilot off. Obviously there's a little bit too much thrust, it's just going up a bit. Now I think the technique to land this, we're going to win from the left, a bit of right rudder. I think it's pretty similar to the 320. Power off, getting high there, 3 whites.
Approaching minimums.
Now it's going to be a high sink rate over the threshold, so correcting that.
100.
Getting the power back in.
50.
Restabilizing.
30. 20. 10.
Holding it there. Idle. There's touchdown. Bit of right rudder and reverses. Have to be F2 on this one. Let the auto brake take the strain. And down we are. Oh, we missed our exit. Manual brakes. We'll take this lit one here. 80 knots. Forward idle. Welcome to San Francisco. What a approach. Oh, no, don't stop on the runway. I don't think they'd like that here. Auto brakes off. I don't know if that's making a difference here, but there we go. 221. Okay, well, we'll take that. I think that worked. Definitely a bit of instability on the approach there. So that is not what you want. You get high and then you pick up a vertical speed as you try and correct, and then you need to get it under control again for the flare. In the Airbus, of course, as you know, with auto thrust and no pitch power couple, it's most certainly easier. Right, let's head over to our stand. We're vacating the runway, so we'll put the landing lights off. Leave the taxi lights on. These can go off. Start the APU. Flaps coming up. We do have the replay, so I will give it a go. James. Docker says you'll never fly for Ryanair. The FO did make some noises at me earlier, but then she left, so she hasn't bothered today. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad you guys liked the landing. That felt pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. I need to go and debrief myself about briefing the chart properly there. I did not spot that DME difference. So let's go park in here. I think this is something like where Southwest Park. And then we'll shut down and see how the... Actually, no, we won't shut down. Let's do our usual. Let's just, let's be sensible here. Let's put the flaps to where we want them. And leave the engines running so we can have a good replay. Pretty tight stand. Yeah, so this is a stand where you definitely want to marshal it. Because you just, it's very tight. Right. So there we are. Welcome to San Francisco. Thank you all for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. What we're going to do now, we've got flaps set to 30, so that's good. What we're going to do is go and do the replay. We've had amazing vacuum controllers, so thank you to them for looking after us today. They've done a fantastic job. Been really, really nice. I'm going to stop the recording. We got the engines, we got the gear, we got the flaps. Speed brakes are disarmed, so I'm just going to arm those. And let's go and replay. Oh, it doesn't sound like it likes that. Let's see what happens. Resume replay. So we can have one exterior view. Thanks, E-Boss. Glad you liked it. Okay, that's good. So let's see what happens. Definitely a bit of a float. We were a bit high here, so now I'm raising the nose and re-adding the power. Into the flare, a little bit high, holding it, bit of a upwards motion, but there we go, lowering the nose a bit, there's the touchdown. Could have probably kicked off a bit more drift, hence the swerving just afterwards, but there we go. Totally fine in the touchdown zone, as we would sort of... Let's see, the... I think the PMDG flies, quite like the hand flying of it. Now, I'm going to blame the runway slightly here. Look, it suddenly goes down. So the runway's going up towards us. Oh no, I can't blame it because I land before it goes down again. There we go, speed brakes up. Excellent. Love it. So, let's put us back on approach. 2,000 feet-ish. Gonna arm the speed brakes. It seems to work quite well with the replay tool, actually. That's good to know. Okay, so. Docker says, why are the flaps down for the turnaround? No, they'd be up normally, unless you thought you had a bird strike or some ice or something like that. Dunjay Shresh, glad you liked it. But yeah, the reason I had the flaps down there was just for the replay. Thanks, Ryan. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you all for coming along. Really appreciate it. Thanks for those new subscriptions. Thanks for the very kind donations. And thank you, of course, to the moderators for looking after us. Thanks to those of you joining us on Twitch and YouTube and for the comments. Really appreciate it. I've had a great time. We'll be back in the Airbus soon. We need to fly the Airbus, of course. That's got to come. And we're also going to do our special long-haul stream for 60,000 subscribers. So we've got that coming soon. As I said, it's been quite busy lately. It's busy over the summer as usual, but I will still be fitting in the streams, no doubt about it. So thank you all for coming along, and we'll see you next time. Have a very good evening. I'm not sure what's happened to my streaming software, so I can only apologise, but thank you so much, James, for the very kind £10 donation. James says, awesome stream as always. Would love to see some DCS Tomcats and carriers with eye tracking in the future. All the best to the FO. James, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Sorry that didn't come up properly. And of course, DCS with the head tracking I think would work really well, or the eye tracking. So that will be on Twitch at some point in the future. So I forgot to say, we do also stream on Twitch when we just do the more fun things like that. So F14 with head and eye tracking, it works really well. I've already tried it out. So thank you very, very much to James for that very kind donation. Really appreciate it.